Hello everyone, welcome to What If Issei, Vali and Gasper were betrayed and joined forces with Sailor Moon Girls Part 2. Before we start, please go support EduardoKenpis for writing that awesome fanfic. This is the translated version I made. There will be some mistake in character's gender, but of course Issei is a male. Chapter 18, Preparing for the Battle Game. After finding out what was happening, everyone asked if I would do it. Gasu, answer old bearded man, he said seriously. Odin, what's up brat, he said bored. Vali, Surzek's Lucifer has asked her to participate in renting gamer, he said calmly. Odin, I see, I'll make sure they don't cheat, he said seriously. Underworld. The redhead looked all upset as he sat at his desk. Surzek's. He was upset as he remembers the conversation that happened after talking to Issei about the confrontation. Memory of Surzek's. A group of demons were seen sitting on some chairs while Surzek's was standing in front of them. Surzek's, what do you want now? He said seriously. Advisor 1, now I'm going to tell you who will participate since those 3 useless dragons are the nuisance, he said seriously. Advisor 2, now the people who will participate are Sona Citri, Rias Gremry, Sekvaria Agars, Razor Phoenix and Sigori Bale, he said seriously. Counselor, that's who will leave, whether you like it or not, it's an order or we will take away your position as Lucifer, he said seriously. Surzek's. He was getting more upset, but he couldn't stop talking after hearing the threat of taking Lucifer's position twice. End of memory. Surzek's. He sees that the people who were called are arriving and decide to talk about that topic. While that happened, he said a little nervously and seriously. Elsewhere. There was a day left for the battle while Issei and the others were sitting. Issei, I received a message from Lucifer's servant, and she says that she wants us to participate as if we were an entourage. Does that mean that? He said seriously and could not finish speaking. Gasu, demons play like chess, he said seriously. Mina, well, my friend is good at chess, she said calmly. Issei, well, it's not a game, it's a battle. It's like facing enemies, he said seriously. Mina, how? She said confused, causing everyone to sweat drop. Ami, what it means is that we are the white pieces and the black pieces are our opponent on a chess board. There is a king, a queen, 2 knights, 2 rooks and 8 pawns. There are 16 pieces in total, she said calmly. Haruka, that's fine, but how will we organize ourselves, he said doubtfully. Issei, in case the king piece fits Serena perfectly, he said calmly. Serena, don't even think about it. I don't want to become a boy, desperate scream. Vali, in the underworld there are girls who use their king piece and their gender does not change, he said calmly. Issei, well, I'll tell you the function of each piece, he said seriously while the others listened attentively. First I'll start from the lowest to the lowest. Who are the 8 pawns? Those who are pawns can make an exchange of any piece. For example, a pawn can exchange with a rook or knight or bishop or queen, he said calmly. Setsuna, it sounds like you know everything, she said a little surprised. Vali, it's because he was a pawn of that gremry before they betrayed him, he said seriously, surprising everyone. Don't you remember that Serena took the pieces from him, he said seriously. You're right, we forgot, she said with a smile. Michiru, that means he knows about the other pieces, right? She said in doubt. Issei, yes, as I was saying, the pawns can change, but it must be inside the enemy's territory. The other is a rook. That rook can castle, changing its place to the king's place, meaning the place where the rook was remains the king, and the place where the king was remains the rook. In addition, the other advantage of the rook is that it gives it brutal strength, he said seriously. Hataru, that's a problem, she said seriously. Issei, I haven't finished the bishop yet. From what I understand, the magic ability wins. And the last one is the queen. That's the problem, he said seriously. The queen has all the strength and more magic. Besides, she is the second most powerful piece in chess, he said seriously. Ami, remember that the queen can also act as the king's right hand, said Tragnola. Gasu, don't doubt it. The queen piece can take command when the king is not around, and that is more problematic, said Seo. Issei, the king piece cannot move, they cannot go to the battlefield because if any piece defeats the king, the opposing team wins. For that reason, the king is left to Serena, he said calmly. Everyone understood what the chestnut meant, but even if he was making his plans. Underworld. A girl was seen sitting on her couch while drinking tea. Maid? Sama, an announcement has arrived, she said calmly. Oh yes, tell me what the news is, he said, not serious. Maid, there will be a confrontation between the Gremory clan, she said calmly while listening to an annoyed voice from her mistress. TKS against who? Said Sirius. Maid, the warriors of the moon will also be the 3 dragons who were said to be traitors, she said calmly. Jujuji, you have encouraged me more, he said happily. Grigory. A serious girl was seen sitting on a stone. Servant? Sama, there will soon be a confrontation between the Gremory clan and the members of the moon, he said calmly. And that interests me, she said seriously. Servant, the 3 dragons who were said to be traitors will also participate, he said calmly. Looks at the servant and shows him a smile. You have brightened up my day, he said happily. Servant, it's the first time I see someone smile. It seems that one of those dragons changed, he said surprised in his mind. In the human world. The brown-haired boy was seen walking while he was thinking about what could happen in that battle. But then he comes out of his thoughts and sees a girl entering an alley. Issei, she's Molly, why did she go in there? Hey wait, that man is not a human, he's a fallen angel. I see. She's trying to get away from him, she said in a serious tone as she continued. The chestnut had gone to the place where his partner entered. When he entered, he saw the chestnut with no way out. Fallen angel, what's up? Let's have fun, he said with a smile. Molly, don't leave me alone, she said with fear. Fallen angel, come on, let's play for a while, he said with a smile. Molly, don't leave me, she said while crying, and a purple fire comes out of her hand, and with that hand covered in fire she touches the fallen man. Issei, that technique sounds familiar to me, where I've seen it, he said surprised in his mind. Drake, she's not that crazy, demon-torturing mage that the damn Vitra bearer fought, he said seriously in his mind. Fallen angel, Aerarg, he screamed in pain where his chest was touched by Molly. Damn, that technique is not Pwog, he said seriously but could not finish because a sword tip came out, and when he looked back he saw the brown-haired boy with the sword stabbing him in the back. Issei, that's what you get for entering that territory, and more so with my friend, he said seriously. Fallen angel, damn you security, he said angrily and then falls dead. Molly, Issei, she said in fear and then falls to the ground. Issei goes to Molly and picks him up. She's cute when she's like that, he said calmly while watching her sleep. That's what I remember, that's how I met Molly, still sleeping. So it's been years since we last saw each other, my childhood friend Molly, he said happily in his mind. After Issei has picked up Molly and takes her to her house, since Issei knew that Vali and Gasper were not going to be at the house, he leaves Molly on the couch. Molly gives the sign that she is waking up. What happened at where am I? She said confused. So you woke up, he said calmly. Molly, to Issei-san, she said calmly, but inside she was nervous. Issei, I found you passed out, I had to bring you here, he said calmly. Molly, great, then that was a dream, she said tiredly. Issei, a dream that, said seeming doubtful. Molly, I was being followed by a stranger and out of nowhere a purple fire came out of my hand, she said calmly. Issei, too bad because that wasn't a dream, he said seriously. Molly, what do you mean? She said confused. Issei, you see, he said seriously while explaining, causing the brunette to be surprised. On the other side, you could see the girls sitting on the grass and in front of them was a river. Rini, how boring, she said boring. Rory, I thought it was going to be fun but it wasn't, she said calmly. Yusa, I don't know why but I have a feeling that something is going to happen, he said in doubt while throwing a rock into the river. Rem, but remember that investing can bring more problems than it has right now, she said calmly while reading a book. Sinan, any Rem that he is reading, she said calmly while looking at the book. Rem, is a book by the Nightingale, it is the original book, she said calmly. Rory, I want to see who loses the bet, she said, bored while lying down on the grass. In another place. In a dark place, 3 people were seen fleeing while those chasing them came from behind. The 3 girls ran aimlessly until they lost sight of him. Is it okay that we did that, One-sama, to run away from that clan? She said tiredly. Do you really want to follow his instructions? She said tiredly. I couldn't stand it anymore, she said tiredly. I'm sorry, but where are we going now? She said tiredly. That's the problem, she said tiredly while sitting down. At least we'll see how much food we have left, she said calmly while checking her backpack. Well, we have 12 cans of food left, she said calmly. Well, we have to eat, he said with a smile. The 3 girls sat down to eat and rest to start a new day. Chapter 19. The beginning of the battle. It was already the day of the battle. Everyone was preparing to be transported to the underworld. After a few seconds, a magic circle appears where the Queen of Surzex comes out and tells him to enter the circle. Everyone did, and they were taken to the underworld. It took a minute to arrive, but to their bad luck, Chestnut and 2 other dragons were brought to a place where there were people. Public, Issei-sama, Gasu-sama, Vala-sama, they screamed like crazy when they saw their nature again. Issei, I had to come here, he said in his mind while greeting with a forced smile. Grafia, follow me please, she said calmly. After Grafia takes them to a room so they can prepare, the warriors wanted to take a walk before starting the battle, so they decided to take a walk. But the brown-haired boy accidentally opens the wrong door since inside were Sona Citri, Sikveria Agars, Serorg Bale and Razor Phoenix. Issei, I think I was wrong, he said a little nervously. Serorg, don't worry, come, nothing will happen, after all, you are still my rival, he said with a smile. The members of the Moon agreed to enter and began to talk. Why talk to them? Well, days ago Issei along with Vala and Gasu told him who was being supported even though they knew that according to them they were traitors. Razor, hey Hayadu, I apologize for that day, I really didn't know that, he said seriously. Issei, don't worry, it's normal for them to ration like that, Razor. Tell me, what about your sister? He said calmly. Razor, it was not said that he was going to bring something, he told me that we should go ahead, and Ravel will also participate in that game, he said calmly. Issei, hee, like the old days, that's how I met Ravel, he said with a forced smile. Serorg, right, I remembered that Razor was an idiot who wanted to get his sister into his harem, he said with a smile. Riser, hey, he said annoyed. This was a conversation between men, even Vala and Gasu were being spoken with them. With the girls. Well, all the girls are talking quietly. On the part of the Moon member, the boys are talking very quietly. Sona, I hope Haida hasn't brought you any trouble, she said calmly. Moon, well the truth, he said with a forced smile. This is how the girl talk happened, and while one guy was a little nervous. In the Greek underworld. A subject was seen sitting while waiting for the battle that was about to begin. Tell me how much longer, he said seriously. It won't take long? She said seriously. The subject just sat there with a serious look. With the members of Luna. Everyone was talking calmly while one is nervous. Serorg, hey Fullbuster, why are you nervous? He said curious. Gasu, nothing is wrong, he said seriously while trying to hide his nervousness. Gasu Samaea, a girl's voice screamed which hung on the fallen angel's sword. Gasu, shit, he said angrily as he falls to the ground and feels an extra weight on his back and decides to see who it was. Everyone was speechless about what just happened, and the brown-haired boy just laughed until he became serious when he heard the voice. It's been a while since we last saw each other, Haida Issei, she said seriously. Issei, what have you come for, Latia Astaroth? He said in a serious voice. The warriors are surprised since they had never seen Issei act like that. Satyr, who is she? She said curiously. Sona, she is Latia Astaroth, she said seriously. Mercury, but that doesn't go away, which is why I speak that way, she said calmly. Tsubaki, Issei has some people he really hates because in that family they are the ones who have given him the most problems, she said seriously. Jupiter, problems, he said in doubt. Sikvaria. If one of them is the descendant of the true Beelzebub who calls himself Shalba, that subject forced Hayato to transform into Juggernaut Drive, causing him to almost lose his life, and the other is when he threw a poison arrow dangerous for dragons who also almost lost his life, and the worst thing is that Latia Astaroth's brother also supported Shalba, and much worse, both were part of the Astaroth clan, she said seriously. Urano. I mean, of all the remaining clans in the underworld, only one of the Issei clan hates everyone, she said seriously. Sona, and the worst thing of all is that she is Sikvaria's cousin, she said seriously. Venus, she said surprised. Really, she said without believing it while looking at Sikvaria. Sikvaria, don't make me angry anymore after my family found out about the act committed by the heir of that clan, breaking the alliance he had with them. Now the underworld sees that clan as a joke, she said seriously while with one hand she begins to rub where her eyes are. Plut, you could say the worst of all, she said seriously while the others nodded. And not only that, she seeks forgiveness from Issei-sama so that the critical mockery they give to that clan stops when she, the heir of that clan, wins forgiveness from Issei-sama, she said calmly while carrying a basket. Sona, Revel, she said surprised. Wait, what do you mean she seeks forgiveness? She said surprised like the other demon girls. Revel, I thought Issei-sama told her. She's been trying to talk for a while now, she said calmly, to some. Excuse me for not introducing myself. My name is Revel Phoenix and I'm also Issei-sama's manager, she said calmly. Sailor Senshi, it's a pleasure, she said calmly. With the boys. The boys looked serious when they saw that the sister of the traitor Diodora came with the intention of seeing Issei. Lisha, we can talk in private, she said seriously. Issei, you know, I'm tired of you looking for me, so let's go, he said seriously. The two left the room to go to a place where there was no one. Razor, I don't know why but I feel like that idiot is going to take advantage of her, he said with a smile making everyone laugh. Woa Gasu-sama, you are very bad because you did not go to see me, he said while crying. Gasu, hey, stop spilling your snot on my clothes, he said angrily while looking at the girl who was taking out her snot on Gasu's clothes. With the girls. I was all getting a bit upset about the behavior of that fallen angel. Sona, and that crazy woman, she said neutrally while a drop of sweat fell. Revel, she is Juvia-sama, a fallen angel, she said with a smile. Neptune, that doesn't change because he acts like that, he said with a drop of sweat. Revel, what Issei-sama told me is that she really wants to be with Gasu-sama, she said with a forced smile. The whole room started laughing and meanwhile Issei was talking to Lisha. Issei, and you really want to talk to me, he said seriously. Lisha, I'll go straight, I want to earn your forgiveness from the former heir Diodora, she said seriously. I don't care if you make me your personal servant, I don't care if you want to take my body if with that I can earn forgiveness, she said seriously. Drake, what a deal, he said in his mind surprised. Buddy, tell me, don't you fancy it, he said with a smile. Issei, shut up or I'll take you to Tiamat, he said angrily in his mind. Drake, forgive me Issei-sama, screamed in the brown-haired boy's mind while he was crying. Issei, you don't have to do it, that's already behind us, she said seriously. Lisha, yes, but the criticism, comments and mockery of my clan have increased. We are even losing political power. If I lose, I will be forced to marry another demon, and the worst thing is that those old men will take advantage of me. She said seriously, that's why I want to gain their trust. She said seriously while lowering her head. Issei, sigh, look, I'll look for a way to have contact with people, I'll try to fix it but I don't promise to do it quickly, he said seriously. Lisha, okay, but I'll tell you right away that those idiots want to set you up, she said seriously and angrily. Issei, and which ones, he said seriously. Lisha, they will let the dragons participate, even they wanted to take advantage, they asked Fenrir, the three creatures to participate in the battle. I don't know which dragons will enter, she said seriously. Issei, those damn things, he said annoyed. Lisha, well that would be all, I have to go, she said with a smile. See you later, Issei, she said calmly while giving me a kiss on the brown-haired cheek. See you, she said with a smile while putting her finger on her lips, and her face was blushing, and then she leaves. Issei blushes hard. Drake stares and then takes out another notebook and writes, "Okay, it seems there will be another one on the list," he said while writing. With leaders. A room was very quiet with an uncomfortable atmosphere. No one spoke to each other. Angelus. Michael. Gabriel. Metratone. Griselda. Fallen. Azazel. Barakiel. Shemhazai. Demons. Surzix. Seraphal. Ajuka. Graphia. Vampires. Queen Carmilla. King Teeps. Elmenhild. Valerie. Gods. Zeus and Ares. Odin and Vidar and Goldu. Vidar. Yukai. Yasaka and Kanu. Guards. Zeus, how long will it take? He said seriously. Surzex, it will soon come out, he said nervously. Graphia, well, there and now, she said seriously. In the Greek underworld. The subject was seen sitting while he was bored. Pandora, how many more are left? He said seriously. Pandora, Hades, some of the game is starting, she said seriously. Hades, well, I want to see that new race that, according to sources, comes from the moon, he said seriously. In the stadium. The young people were preparing to go out. On the right side, the members of the Moon Kingdom came out, and on the left, their opponents came out. Gasu, what does it mean? He said annoyed. Issei, just like Latia Astaroth told me, he said seriously. Satyr, what do you mean? She said confused. Issei, the damn old man wants us to return to his ranks, he said seriously. Urano, that is complicated. I don't understand how those crazy people behave, he said in doubt. Mercury, now we have to change the plan, she said a little calmly. The moon members realize that more opponents have increased now. 3 more dragons have entered. Chapter 20. The Battle of the Moon Clan and the Chosen Members. The entire audience was seen screaming with excitement, while the opponents on each side prepared themselves until the light went out, and above was seen a screen where Surzex's queen appeared. Graphia, hello, good evening. I am Graphia, the queen of the demon king Syzex Lucifer. I will be the referee. Also today there will be a battle between the Moon Kingdom and some members who were selected. Here on the right side is the Moon Kingdom clan, she said seriously while a light illuminates the members of the moon, while the audience screamed. And here on the left side are the members who were selected, she said seriously while the light illuminated the members while the audience screamed. Very well, everyone inside the dimension, she said seriously while both groups were taken to the dimension. Battlefield. In a very well-known school for the 3 dragons came out into the room. Issei, if I'm not mistaken, that room is the Sona Student Council, he said seriously. Moon, okay guys, she said seriously, we have to think of a plan since the plan we had won't work because they brought dragons in, she said seriously. Mercury, besides, there are more of them than us, we don't know if we will be able to continue, she said seriously. Elsewhere. In an old building the members who were elected come out. Sona, okay, we'll make the plan, she said seriously. Rias, I don't need your plan, Sona. I'll face that damn witch who's cheating on my cute pawn, she said seriously as they leave the room. I don't know how he managed to put up with that girl's behavior, she said seriously. You should calm down, Tiamat, he said seriously. Tiamat, just stay silent. Serorg, I understand how you feel, but we better make the plan since they are less than us, he said seriously. Sona, that's right, we'll all go with our entourage, she said seriously. Ravel, but don't you think there will be many opponents for them? He said doubtfully. Sona, I'm sorry Ravel, I understand that there are many of them, but we can't do anything. You know how those counselors are, she said seriously. Razor, let's just hope that Hiatus shares his battle luck with them since I don't like the idea of getting back in the ranks of those assholes, he said seriously, making everyone understand who he was referring to. Sigvera, well, we will all separate. I will go with Seroig, she said seriously. Seroig, well, there are no problems since you don't have members of your clan, he said seriously. In the human world Tokyo, a brunette girl was seen lost in her mind while being called by someone. Molly, hey, listen to me, she said worried. Molly, hey, okay, you're here, she said surprised. Mayumi, Molly's mom, what are you thinking about? She said curiously. Don't tell me you're thinking about a boy, she said with a mocking smile. Molly blushes heavily. Okasan, blush scream. Mayumi, I would like to know who it is, she said happily. Molly, well, the truth is, you remember Issei, she said nervously and blushing. Mayumi, Issei, that name sounds familiar to me, she said while her eyes were closed. Wait, isn't that Mickey's son? She said surprised. Is that the one you like? She said happily. Molly blushes. Mayumi, I'll take it as if, she said happily as she went to the kitchen. Molly, she remained silent while remembering that conversation. Memory of Molly. The chestnut looked shocked while she saw the chestnut sitting in the armchair. Molly, then that means he's not human anymore, she said in shock. Issei, that's right, and I still remember you. Don't think that I've forgotten you, since you're also my childhood friend. Since that day we met, I was still a human, but then I stopped being human for some reason. And listen to me, Molly-san, you've just entered the supernatural world and have awakened a dangerous power, he said seriously. Molly, what do you mean, I awakened a dangerous power? He said, worried about what he just heard. Issei, thousands of years ago, God, the creator of angels and heaven, created Grar to give to humans so that they could defend their race from the attack of supernatural beings, and you received one of them, one of the three, the most powerful knowledge of the purple flame, which evil beings fear to encounter that flame, in other words. From today you are the bearer of that flame. I would like to teach you how to defend yourself, but my hands are busy. Perhaps another day I will teach you all of them, he said seriously. End of memory. Molly just stays silent. Mayumi, daughter, come help me in the kitchen, she said calmly from the kitchen. Molly, I'm going, she said happily. In student council, everyone was preparing to leave while S.Moon made a list. S.Moon, well, I already have a list. S.Mercury along with S.Mars, S.Jupiter along with S.Venus, S.Saturn along with S.Pluto and S. Uranus along with S. Neptune, Vali along with Gasu and me along with Issei. Well, there are problems, she said seriously. All, of course not, he said seriously. They had all separated at the place where S.Mercury was assigned and S.Mars was assigned in the entrance courtyard. S.Jupiter and S.Venus were assigned where the pools are. They obviously sealed the pools so as not to have problems in battle. S.Saturn and S.Pluto were assigned to the basketball court. S.Uranus and S.Neptune are assigned to the soccer field. Vala and Gasu were assigned in the forest. S.Moon and Issei were assigned to the building where the student council is. Everyone had arrived at their assigned place while they realized that their opponents were also arriving. S.Mercury and S.Mars were both standing in the entrance courtyard while watching their opponent, who was none other than Razor and his entourage, as well as Ravel, who was like his brother Razor's bishop. Razor, so you are our opponents, he said seriously. S.Mercury, so the Phoenix said seriously. S.Mars, water can put out fire and fire can be harmful because my fire is like a sacred aura, she said seriously. S.Jupiter and S.Venus. Both were already in the pool while I saw their opinions on Cyroi, while Sigvaria was also there. Serorg, so they are our opponents, huh? I don't think it will be difficult, he said seriously. Sigvara, but we can't underestimate it, she said seriously. S.Jupiter, that's going to be difficult, she said seriously. S.Venus, if we fight together we will win, she said with a smile. S.Saturn and S.Pluto. Both were already on the court while looking at their opponents. Sona, so you are our opponents, she said seriously. S.Pluto, Don't think we'll make it easy, she said seriously. Urano and Neptune were already on the soccer field while I saw some members of the Gremry clan. Urano, more problematic, he said seriously. Zenobia, you won't get out of here alive, she said seriously. Vala and Gasu were both flying over the forest while watching the dragons arrive. So our opponent is you, she said seriously. Vali, I had to call the Dragon Queen Tiamat, he said seriously. Tan and Fafnir, I hope for a good battle, he said seriously. Gasu, he was looking at the dragons while a golden necklace appears. Fafnir, yes, I also expect a good battle, he said seriously. Moon and Issei were both standing on the rooftop as the Gremry clan members arrived. Rias, so he decides to face my damn scum, she said seriously while looking at Moon. Moon, she just stared at her opponents. Several groups are about to start while the leaders were waiting for the results of that battle, while one leader got nervous. Chapter 21, The Battle of the Moon Clan and the Chosen Members Part 2. Everyone had already gone to their post while some had already started their battles with the leaders. Everyone was watching the battle in front of them. Several screens appeared as there were several people fighting. Odin, they make me nervous if something happens to the princess. I can't imagine if the queen were alive, I wouldn't want to see how upset she would be, he said nervously in his mind. Zeus, it's the first time we see that kingdom that supposedly existed since ancient times battle, he said seriously. Teeps, since ancient times I suppose the only one who knew was Odin, he said calmly. In the Pendragon house, the maids were cleaning like crazy since they heard from their mistress who the visit was about. Remember the maids. Do you know why I called you here? She said lightly. Maids, everyone was confused. After so many years? Will he come home? He said not seriously. Maid starts to sweat profusely as she remembered how that person acted. End of memory. Maid Hey, I'm here, she shouted for everyone to get in line. The servants and maids were lined up as they watched a carriage arrive and stop in front of the house. Servant, approaches the carriage and I will open the door. Everyone was waiting for their guests to come down until they saw two blonde girls coming down. Servant, welcome Arturia-sama Jean-sama, he said calmly while leaning forward. Both women walked towards the entrance and saw a servant who called her. Servant, welcome Arturia-sama Jean-sama, please follow me, Lord Pendragon is waiting for you, he said calmly. Both girls walked to see that person. It took a few minutes to get to where he was in a garden. Servant, here is my lady, he said calmly while opening the door. In the human world in the forest, you could see the three girls walking until they sat down. So? You had that strange dream, she said doubtfully. I'm sure you're already in a hurry to want a boyfriend, she said with a smile. Unsama, she said embarrassed. Are you calm down? I like your smile more than your anger, he said with a smile. I also had a strange dream, Unsama, he said in doubt. Are that weird, he said in doubt. With the members. In the entrance courtyard were Mercury and Mars battling with Razor and his entourage. Razor was standing a little far from the battle. Ravel, brother, do you think that Ubelula, along with the others, will beat her too? She said worriedly. Razor, no, now that I see their strength, they can be on par with high-class demons, he said seriously. Isabella, she was punching with her fists while being stopped by a wall of water. Foot, his defense is very tough. It is tougher than the one I once fought with Issei, she said seriously. Mercuru, okay. It's my turn for Shine Aqua Illusion, she said calmly while attacking her opponent. Isabella, damn, she said annoyed while covering herself. Cheeries, she is mine, she said seriously while trying to attack with her sword of fire on Mercury's back. Mars, Gia, come on Mars Flame Sniper, she said seriously while getting into the position of a fire bow and her arrow launching towards her opponent. I see, so you can make fire, huh? He said in his mind while dodging the attack. Mars, she smiles as her target was the twins who are attacking their partner Mercury. The twins, they realize her attack, maybe attack him to send him somewhere else. But the arrow fell to the ground and exploded along with the twins. He takes the damage and falls while they were eliminated. In the human world, 2 blonde girls were seen sitting while the Pendragon Patriarch was having tea. Leify's mom, tell me Arturia, why did you come? She said calmly. Arturia, I came because it seemed strange to me that Faye no longer speaks to me. Did something happen? She said not seriously, making the parents get a little nervous. Le Fay's father, well, the truth is that she is depressed for a reason, he said seriously. Arturia, what is the reason? Did they promise it by force? She said seriously. Leify's mother, I could say that there is a problem with that, but the real reason is because she found out that your brother Arthur betrayed the person that your sister who admired him so much now fears seeing him because she will think that he hates him for his brother, she said seriously. Arturia, TKS, gets upset. Jean, excuse me, now where is she? She said curiously. Leify's mother, in her room, she said seriously. Jean, and he said curiously. Leify's mother, we took him out of the house because we didn't want to see him because of him. I guess Issei hates us now, she said seriously. In the underworld, Mars was seen watching as he attacked 2 pawns. Grafia, 2 pawns of Razor-sama has retreated, she said seriously. Mercury, well now it's my turn. Mercury Aqua Illusion attacks him, causing them to be eliminated by a bishop. Grafia, a bishop of Razor-sama retired, said seriously. Razor, it gives me no other option but to enter the battlefield, he said seriously. Elsewhere, S.Venus and S.Jupiter were seen fighting against the Baal and Agar's clans. S.Jupiter, Jaya's supreme thunder, he launches a lightning attack towards the Baal members. Resume the attack, that attack is very problematic, he said seriously. S.Jupiter, flower hurricane, throws some petals which hit one of the 2 knights. It was the knight who was riding his horse. Damn, he said annoyed while grabbing a tree to hit him, but he couldn't because S.Venus stopped him with his chain. S.Venus, you're not done with me yet, she said seriously. Serwar, wow, they fight well, they could definitely be a strong rival, he said seriously. Elsewhere, Satyr and S.Plut were seen fighting with the members of Sona. Tsubasa, Gia, he tried to hit him with his fist but he couldn't because of a barrier. S.Satyr, you will need a stronger blow than this, she said seriously while holding her spear in front of her, giving the signal to raise the bar. Tomo, take that, she said seriously while attacking with her sword but was stopped with S.'s spear. Pluts. S.Plut, he kept watching while stopping the attack. Tomo, damn, she said seriously while looking at her opponent. S.Jupiter and S.Venus. The place looked almost destroyed as 2 warriors fought with little difficulty, and the members of Seger and their companion Sigvaria were in a bit of a bind. Layden, damn, she is tough, he said seriously while his body was damaged by rays. Nemia, we have to find a way to defeat her, he said a little tired. S.Venus, come here puppy, she said with a smile. Venus love me chain, she said calmly while throwing her chain and managing to catch. Nemia, I am not a cub, I am the legendary lion of Nemia. Annoyed cry, devil, I fell into the trap. Desperate cry as he fell into S.Venus provocation. S.Jupiter, supreme thunder is not finished yet, he said seriously while launching a lightning attack. S.Satyr and S.Plut. The girls looked very serious trying to face their opponents. Sona, do it Tomo, she said seriously. Tomo, yes Kaiku, she said seriously while using magic to bury her opponent's feet. S.Satyr, it's useless, she said calmly while closing her eyes and touching the ground with her spear. After touching the ground it is destroyed, freeing the feet of both warriors. Momo, what was that? Does he have the power of destruction? She said nervously while on the ground as she was pushed by S.Satyr's attack. Rhea, he will be a difficult opponent, she said nervously. Underworld. There was a man sitting while watching the battle. Hades, There is no doubt, just as you said that day at the beginning, I took it as a joke once you told me to seal Samuel because someone was going to use him as a weapon, which managed to happen, and that some races tried to awaken the Triaxid dragon, which they succeeded, so I realized that your word was real, so I started to watch Hayato Issei. Because once you told me something about the Sakurayutai, but there is no sign that it is against humanity. I still remember when you told me that a race that comes from the moon, and here they are in front of my eyes, and also the warning of the end of the world said that something from the sky fell. What would that mean? I still do not understand, he said in his mind while getting up. If I talk about those things you told me, they will not believe me, he said seriously. Silence fell over the room as Pandora only looked at her lord with a serious face. Chapter 22: The Battle of the Moon Clan and the Chosen Members, Part 3. The battle was becoming surprising, knowing how powerful their attacks are while in other places. Counselor, damn lower classes, they don't do things right. That's why I want to kill all the scum, he said, annoyed while watching the battle. Counselor 2, after the battle they will receive their punishment for not knowing how to fight against a kingdom full of donkeys and stupid people, he said, annoyed. In the battle, you see S. Urano together with S. Neptune, while in front were the servants of Gremry. Akeno, Jaria, screams while throwing a lightning bolt at S. Neptune. S. Netuno, MC the lightning dodges it and attacks it. Deep Submerge attacks fiercely. Kaneko, seeing that she is falling on top of Neptune, she decides to hit him with her fist. S. Neptune, he still avoids it. S. Urano, seeing that one is defenseless, he attacks him. World Shaking attacks fiercely. Kaneko, seeing the attack, she decided to stop it with her hand, but she couldn't stand it, and received the attack. She screams in pain but then disappears. Grafia, a retired Rias Gremry Tower, she said seriously. Kiba, damn, if one of those attacks hits me, I'm done for, he said seriously in his mind. With Vala and Gasu. The terrain was seen almost destroyed, which showed Tannen and Tiamat fighting against Vala and Gasu in their balance break form. Tannen, yes, they have become stronger, that excites me even more, he said with a smile. Takmat, I've wanted to fight you Fafnir for a long time, but it seems you've got the right attitude, it's very strong, he said with a smile. With Serena and Issei. You could see Issei and S. Moon, and in front of them was Rias along with Zenobia and Ras YC. Rias, this time you won't get away with it, girl, she said seriously while expelling power. Issei, the three of them are strong. I doubt you'll be able to face her, but I'll make sure to stop the knight and the Gremry Tower, he said seriously while activating his balance breaker. S. Moon, I will do my best to face that rude girl, she said seriously. Issei, okay, here I go, he said seriously as he lunges towards Zenobia to attack him with his sword. Zenobia stops the attack with Enduranal. Issei, he sees Ras YC who is about to attack him up close, which he dodges with difficulty. Ras YC failed, she said somewhat disconcertedly. Issei, he lunges to hit him with his fists but was stopped by Ras YC's defense. S. Moon attacks Rias, but she defends herself with a barrier. In the leadership room, everyone was staring in surprise while Odin was dying of fear. Odin, what can I do to stop this battle? He said with fear inside, and outside he had a serious face. Yasaka, seeing from here, that faction of the moon is stronger than ever, and it has 3 dragons as allies, she said surprised. In a distant place, the girls were seen watching the fights. Rini, so that's such a gamer rat, she said surprised. Rem, Okasan told us that one day we would participate too, she said calmly. Back to the battle. A few minutes of battle had already passed while the leaders listened as the members were eliminated. Grafia, I will tell you the members who were eliminated by Razor Sama. A bishop, 7 pawns, a knight and a rook were eliminated, she said seriously. Riser, damn, that's tough, he said cursing himself knowing that he is losing servants. S. Mercury, that looks like a piece of cake, she said a little tired. S. Mars, come on, let's finish with that, she said calmly. Grafia, on the part of Saigori-sama, 2 bishops, 1 knight, 1 rook were eliminated, she said seriously. Sekvaria, I didn't think he could be on the same level as us, Rias said. Venus, come puppy, let me catch you, he said with a smile. Nemia, I'm not a puppy, annoyed cry. Jupiter, Jam with a smile. Graphia, on the part of Sona-sama, a pawn is eliminated, she said seriously. Sona, a battle with no way out, she said tiredly. With leaders. Everyone is surprised by what Queen Lucifer said. Surzex, a Graphia moment, at which moment they were eliminated, he said in shock. Graphia, that's right, they were eliminated while you went to see another confrontation, she said seriously. Ajuka, they've only been in this battle for almost 15 minutes, he said calmly while he was interested in knowing more about that race. With Rias. Rias is facing S. Moon. Rias was throwing a sphere of destruction since she has planned to eliminate S. Moon, on the other hand, S. Moon, although it made things difficult for her, but she still attacks. On the other hand, Issei with his balance breaker is trying to stop Zenobia and Ras YC, while the other members of the Moon Kingdom fought with little difficulty since they had gotten a little tired. Ravel, Onasama, is already impossible to fight with them. The only option is to meet with the others and make a plan, she said seriously while dodging a fire arrow. Razor, I hate to admit it, but he's right, he said Sryo. Ravel tries to communicate with the others to see what place he can go to meet, which everyone accepted, but in order to withdraw he had to make a sacrifice, which was with Razor. Isabella, Razor-sama, Ravel-sama, you retire, we will take care of it, she said seriously. Knight, we will try to buy time, she said seriously while pointing her flaming sword. Razor, Isabella, gentlemen, I understand, let's go, Ravel, he said seriously. After Ravel and Razor left to go to the place where they agreed, while they both left they only heard the voice of the Queen of Lucifer. Graphia, one tower and one knight of Razor-sama eliminated, she said seriously. With Sona. Tsubasa, Kaicho, you must meet with them, we will stop him here, she said seriously. Ruruko, let's go, Kaicho, retirement, she said seriously. Sona, I'll reward him later, she said seriously. Let's go, she said seriously while looking at her entourage. After Sona left with her entourage, she only heard the voice of the Queen of Lucifer on the road. Graphia, one tower and one pawn of Sona-sama are eliminated, she said seriously. Sona, later I will reward you for your efforts, she said seriously while going to that place. With Serorg. Just as two of his pieces offered themselves as sacrifices to join their allies. Tower, Serorg-sama, go ahead, he said seriously. Knight, go ahead, you must win, he said seriously. Saigori, I understand, but use your mind, he said seriously. Tower/Knight, yes, he said seriously. Serorg left looking for the place where they agreed upon. Arriving at that place he sees Razor along with Ravel at his side. He sees Sona and her entourage entering. That's when Saigori arrives. Razor, I'm already in a bind, he said seriously. Sona, all his entourage left, they touched you the hardest, she said seriously. Razor, not one of them is noticeable that she read all our movement, he said seriously. Serorg, and by the way, Rias and the dragons, he said seriously. Ravel, the reason is the Dragon-sama, they are fighting with Gases-sama and Valis-sama, that would not be a problem for us, she said seriously but calmly. But Rias, she rejected me, she said upset and serious. Graphia, one tower and one knight of Saigori-sama retreat, she said seriously. Razor, Jew, his limbs are tough, he said with a smile while looking at Serorg. Serorg, that's why training is better than that, he said with a smile. Uff. A groan of pain was heard and he sees the place where Issei comes out. Issei, what's going on? He said in doubt. Sona, what happened to you? She said seriously. Issei, that brainless swordswoman is attacking like nothing, he said seriously. That hurt, he said with pain while coming out of the bush and rubbing his hip. Are we surrounded? Pa. An explosion was heard behind, causing Issei and S. Moon to fly out and fall brutally to the ground. Zenobia, why are they running away? She said seriously while walking slowly. Issei, that's bad, we'll be in trouble, he said seriously. Moon. The only way to get out of here is by fighting together, she said seriously as she gets up but also dodges the lightning attacks. Akeno, era you deserve a punishment for fufufu, she said with a smile. Issei, that's bad, first we're surrounded and then the Gremry clan, he said seriously. Zenobia, she is my opponent, she said seriously. Issei. He realizes and goes towards Zenobia, stopping him to prevent him from advancing further. Zenobia, Issei, get out of here, she said seriously while attacking with her sword. Issei counterattacks but is then pushed back by Razwai's attacks. Yuichi, that hurt, he said in pain as he received it in his ribs. Razwai, several magic circles come out and attack Moon, but someone got in the way, she said surprised and sees the person who was Issei. With Sona and the others. Everyone was watching the confrontation, the way they attacked Issei and how he protected his leader. Razor, how important is she that Hayate should receive that attack, he said seriously. Ravel, that's bad, Sona-sama. If we don't stop him, that could bring conflict with the demonic advisors, she said with little fear. With Issei. Issei was fighting with some members of Rias, which were Razwai and Zenobia, but then he hears a scream. Hyodu screamed angrily. Issei. He just looks back and it was nothing more than Saji with his balance breaker throwing some whips grabbing Issei's arm. Issei, shit, he said seriously as he watches his energy being stolen. Saji, he just kept watching as he saw how he stole Issei's energy. Sona, I would like to help Issei but we also have problems, she said seriously while looking back. Grafia, a Knight 2 of Rias-sama is eliminated, she said seriously. Everyone looks at the place where Sona is looking and you see the other moon warriors arriving. Mercury, well, at the end of the battle, she said seriously as she began to analyze her opponents. Outside the battle in the courtyard of Issei's house in the human world. Two girls are seen sitting on a balcony looking at the sky and then change their gaze to the screen where the battle is taking place. Just imagine you're in the yard. Tell me? Aren't you going to help your friend? She said seriously. You don't know how much I want to help but I can't because it would interfere with your plans, she said seriously. I wonder how she will react, she said seriously. In the battle. Issei is seen in a bind as he looks back and sees Moon fighting hard with Rias and Zenobia, and then he changes his gaze forward and sees Saji draining his energy, and Razwai preparing for battle. Issei, damn Drake, give me more strength, he said seriously. Drake, sure, show him who Vitra is fighting with, he said seriously while giving him more magnification. Issei, feeling his power increase and raises his hand, Ascalon, he screams while cutting the whip that held Issei. Saji, damn, he said seriously. Issei looks back and realizes something and doesn't even hesitate to run. With Moon. She was fighting with Rias but she doesn't realize the danger that is about to approach. When she turns around, she sees the Gremry Knight Zenobia with the intention of attacking her from behind, and she just closes her eyes but after a few seconds she feels a cool drop on her face. When she opens it, she realizes what happened. Moon, Issei, he said with fear. Everyone was shocked at what just happened. Chapter 23, A Moment of Confusion. Everyone was surprised as was Zenobia as she attacked him. What happened? Issei received the attack that Zenobia wanted to attack Moon. His back is broken, his shoulder and spine were open, they almost separated from his body. Issei falls to the ground but is caught by Moon. Moon. She is looking at Issei's body and then moves on to Issei's face who is suffering in pain. Issei, she said scared but then out of nowhere she feels a pain in her head, an unbearable pain that she grabs with both hands. Not only Moon who is suffering but also the other warriors on the moon. Mercy, ugh that pain is unbearable, she said in pain. Mars, because out of nowhere it started to hurt, is it an attack from them? She said in pain. Plut, it can't be, he was never supposed to wake up. What happened to break the seal? She said worriedly. Sona, what's happening? she said worriedly while watching all the warriors suffer. With the dragons. Tannen along with Tiamat is surprised since he saw Vala and Gasu holding his head. Gasu, arg, did you hit me with that hard head? He said annoyed while looking at Vala. Vali, don't tell me since you have a stone, he said seriously. With the leaders. He is also surprised by what happens in the battle and in that place. So he is a leader and 2 advisors who are suffering from a headache. He was Odin and the cats. Odin, he is enduring the pain while being supported by Gudo. Luna and Artemis, also tries to endure the pain. Azazel, what the hell just happened, he said seriously. With S.Moon. She is crying while caressing Issei's face, and Rias is in shock that she decided to approach Issei to hug her but was blinded by a bright light. It was the silver crystal. S.Moon does not understand what is happening, but it does not take a second for the light to illuminate more, causing S.Moon to change from his battle suit to his Moon Princess suit, and Issei was covered in a light, causing his wounds to close. S.Moon. She is surprised as she begins to remember everything in her life that happened with Issei until the day when misfortune fell upon her. She does not hesitate to cry more while holding Issei's face. Issei, forgive me for everything that happened, please forgive me, don't leave me, she said sadly while crying. I won't leave your side, princess, he said calmly. S.Moon is surprised to see Issei calm. Issei, a lady as beautiful as you should not stain your face with tears for my princess, he said calmly as he stands up and turns around. With his thumb he begins to wipe the tears that the princess shed. S.Moon, Issei, she said happily, but then changed to shock as she noticed that Issei's eyes looked dull. Issei ukyaa, she said a little worried but didn't finish talking as Issei carried her. Issei, let's go with the others, he said calmly. Rias, Issei, wait, Issei, why are you going with her? She said worried. I see, so you want to force it, she said seriously while she stretches out her hand and a small ball comes out big enough to penetrate the head and she throws it without hesitation. Issei, I just turn around and attack with great power. Rias/Zenobia. She is surprised by the power that was released, but it did not harm her, but instead it passed between her, and they both look back, which she manages to see a big explosion. With Sona. Sona and her comrades were watching how they recovered from the pain, and not only that, Vala also arrived along with Gasu and also Tannen along with Tiamat. One of the warriors was going to speak, but out of nowhere an explosion was heard almost close to them. Tannen, what happened there? He said seriously. Vali, hey Gasu, he said seriously. Gasu, yes, both look at the sky and see Issei coming down from the sky. Issei, I see that you are fine, he said not seriously as he comes down from the sky and looks at some warriors who are Mercury, Mars, Jupiter and Venus, TKS. He gets upset to see those warriors and looks at Pluto, Uranus, Saturn and Neptune and walks towards them and puts the princess down. I'll leave the care to you since I don't trust them, he said seriously as he looks back and sees the warriors. Sona and her comrades are totally confused about what is happening, but then they see Rias arrive along with Zenobia, who is also surprised. Vitra, that presence, he said seriously. This presence, he said even more annoyed. Tannen, what's happening, Vitra, he said seriously as he came down from the sky. Tiamat, suspicious about Vitra's behavior. What's going on, Vitra said seriously. Vitra, I have no doubt that it is the same presence that I felt that day, he said seriously. Tannen, what do you mean? He said seriously. Vitra, do you remember that day you saw me in a bad state? It was because of that person who left me like this, that day, he said seriously while pointing at Issei with his tentacles. Tiamat, that he said it was serious since she also saw how he left Vitra. Rias, what's wrong, Issei, why are you getting affectionate with that hitch? She said worried. Issei, you and I have nothing to be together, besides you are a simple demon who is only interested in luxury and power as always, he said seriously. Rias touches her chest because those words hurt her. Akeno, because Issei's presence feels different, she said worried. Albion, hide Issei wears red because I can't feel inside you, he said seriously. Issei, White dragon never expected to be sealed just like the red dragon, he said seriously. Albion, answer the question, he said seriously. Issei, it's simple. I sent him to sleep since that dragon doesn't allow me to take control of that body, he said seriously, surprising everyone who was near Issei. Vitra, I never imagined seeing that again, he said seriously. Issei, well, it seems that they took you that way, Vitra, he said seriously. Does it bother you that they trample on your pride? He said seriously. Vitra, TKS, you'll pay me for that day, he said annoyed. Issei, come here and show me, he said seriously. With the leaders. Everyone was silent since they did not know what to say about the words that Issei said. Odin, Lucifer, he said seriously, I ask you to stop that battle. You don't know what he is like, he said seriously. Surzex, do you know that guy who is controlling Issei's body? He said seriously. On the other side of the stadium. The blonde girl was seen upset, saying that being out here she can't do anything. Latia, what just happened? That drove me crazy. I don't understand what's happening anymore, she said seriously. With the leaders. The redhead is seen saying to his wife. Surzex, Grafia, take care of canceling everything, he said seriously. Grafia, yes Surzex-sama, she said seriously while trying to cancel it. Oh no, she said worried. Then Alana, what's wrong Grafia, she said worried after knowing her reaction. Grafia, I no longer have full control of that dimension if it wasn't that person, she said worried. Yasaka, who took control of that dimension, she said seriously since she can easily feel Issei's presence since she realized that he was not the person they know. Grafia, the young Issei-sama, said worried. All the leaders care little for the safety of these young demons. In the Greek underworld. You see the god of the underworld upset. Hades, I finally found you. I will not hesitate. I will kill him before he goes against us. I am no longer surprised after those words that you told me. Yes, they did, and now you tell me about the future. Yes, that no longer surprises me, he said seriously in his mind while watching the battle. With Issei. Issei was only limited to seeing what was around him. Vitra was the first to attack by throwing his purple flames. Issei. He just stared as the fire only limited itself to raising his hand while a magic circle appeared to block the attack, but then he looked back to see who was Kiba with the intention of attacking him from behind. Not so fast, demon, he said with a mocking smile while stopping the attack with Ascalon. Kiba, answer who you really are. Who are you that is controlling Issei-kun's body, he said seriously. Issei, you want to find out, so force me, he said seriously. Kiba. Without hesitation he creates another sword with his other hand and begins to attack Issei with his two swords, who was easily blocked. Issei, that's all, devil, he said seriously. Poig, he spits out a little blood and looks at the person responsible for the blow. Serorg, I was just seriously looking at Issei without saying anything. Elsewhere. Stop mercy, princess, what do we do? Let's help Issei, she said seriously. Princess, let's not leave him alone, she said seriously while she had her eyes closed. Princess Memory. The girl was seen being carried by Issei while she was flying to a place. Issei, princess, will you do me a favor? He said calmly. Princess, tell me, she said a little nervously since she doesn't know what she will say. Issei, there will be a confrontation with the other remaining opponents. I need to fight them to resolve some doubts I have. So please do me a favor and not intervene at all, he said calmly. Princess, it's okay as long as you don't do anything crazy, she said calmly while clinging closer to Issei. End of memory. Mars, but why princess, she said surprised. Princess, because Issei asked me, no one should interfere in any way, she said seriously. With Issei. Everyone got into position to fight with Issei, while the brown-haired boy just made his half-smile. Issei, let's see what they are capable of doing, he said not seriously with a half-smile. Chapter 24, A Moment of Confusion Part 2. Everyone got into position to fight with Issei, while the brown-haired boy just made his half-smile. Issei, Let's see what they are capable of doing, he said not seriously with a half smile. Razor was the one who attacked first, launching his fire. Sona also attacks him along with Sekvaria, her demonic power. Issei sees the attacks and does not hesitate and dodges them, but he also looks up to see Kiba, who is about to pierce Issei with his sword, but he did not succeed. He was stopped by Issei's sword Ascalon. Then he goes down and looks back at Zenobia along with Tsubaki, who were both going to attack him with magic. Zenobia with Durandal and Tsubaki with magic. Issei sees him from afar and attacks him. Issei, Mega Comet, he said seriously while attacking Zenobia/Tsubaki. She is surprised since her attacks were swallowed by Issei's attack and both received the attack. Tsubaki, that hurt, she said in pain and stood up hard. Sona, Tsubaki, are you okay? She said worriedly. Tsubaki, no matter what happens, don't take that attack, she said in pain. Sona, calm down, you'll be transported soon, she said seriously. Issei, do you think they can escape? He said seriously. Razor, what do you mean? He said seriously. Issei, I took control of that world so no one can get out of here, he said seriously. Sekvaria, so we have to defeat you in order to get out, she said seriously. Issei, I don't know, you find out, he said seriously. Saji, Vitra, give me more power to get revenge on that imbecile, he said seriously. Vitra, don't do it, it will only kill you, he said seriously. Saji, I don't give a shit about you, you don't make the decision, I make the decision, he said annoyed. Vitra, do whatever you want, but don't come screaming for me to save you afterwards, he said annoyed. Saji, balance break, he said seriously while transforming. Issei, come on, do you not want to fight anymore, he said seriously. Juum dodges Saji's attack. So you are blinded by revenge and anger, huh? He said seriously. Saji, shut up from here, he won't get out alive, he said seriously while he launches himself to attack him with his tentacles. Issei, he was only limited to dodging it, but by accident he is caught by some tentacles of Saji's arm. Saji, I have you now, I will take away your power, he said seriously. Vitra, don't do it, annoyed scream but was ignored. Saji, Puig, spits blood, shit, what's going on, he said annoyed while his body trembles. Vitra, that's what happens to you when you don't listen to me. I told you not to do it, and you dare to absorb the power of that guy, annoyed scream. That guy's energy is something like an angel, and since you are a demon it was obvious that you would burn, he said seriously and annoyed. Issei, you have a very stupid Vitra carrier, he said seriously. And then he says that I was the one who trampled on your pride, he said with a mocking smile, but then he removes the smile as he was attacked by the dragons. Wow, for 2 dragons to attack me like that, then I'll give it back to you, he said seriously. Crash, explosion. Crash, he said seriously while creating an explosion. Tannen/time at is surprised and receives a fierce attack. Everyone is surprised and at the same time scared because his way of acting already scared him, and more so your attacks could counterattack Zenobia's attack and Tsubaki could damage 3 dragons, and without forgetting who controls that dimension also feels the same. The faction leaders are angels, demons, fallen angels, Asgore vampires, Yukai, and the underworld Greeks. Hades only limited himself to watching the battle and at the same time planning to be able to kill Issei with S.Moon. Everyone just kept looking until one of them spoke. S.Satyr, Princess, it will be fine for Issei to do that, she said seriously. Princess, please leave it, Issei, he only asked me for that favor since he wanted to clarify something that he knows, she said calmly. With Issei, the brown-haired boy was only limited to seeing all the members lying down, as some of them were received with serious attacks while some are intact but were hurt. Issei, I'm already bored of that, he said seriously while raising his hand to prepare an attack. That time no one will come out alive, he said seriously. Mercury, wake Issei, what are you going to do? She said worried but was stopped by the princess. But princess, she said worried as well as her companions. Princess, I was just silent. Issei, that's goodbye, now they will die, he said seriously while he is about to launch the attack until suddenly a butterfly appears flying towards the hand where he is preparing the attack. That butterfly is, he said surprised. Don't do it, young Issei, he said with a very reassuring voice while touching the arm where the butterfly was. Issei, even when you're dead, you still care after thousands of years have passed, he said with a smile as he cancels the attack. Okay, I give up, he said calmly. I think that's enough, right? He said calmly as he looks at that person who is smiling. On Sailor Moon's part, the queen piece is removed. Everyone was surprised at what happened because out of nowhere Issei changed his behavior, but then his gaze changed when he saw the dimension as it trembled slightly, and it was noticeable that everyone was glowing. Sona, he is no longer controlling the dimension. That means that, she said surprised and looks back and then listens. Razor Phoenix is eliminated along with his pieces at last. Part of Serorg Bale Queen retires. Part of Rias Gremry retreats with her queen pieces, 2 rooks, 2 knights and her pawn. Part of Sekvaria retreats with its queen. Part of Sona his queen retires. Serorg, it seems that we two are left, Sona, he said seriously. Sona, ha ha ha, I have no strength left. Sona Citri gives up, she said seriously. Serorg, Jew, so this is how it ends, he said with a smile. I Serorg Bale gives up, he said seriously. Sona Citri surrenders. Serorg Bale surrenders. The winner of that confrontation is Sailor Moon. The audience was shocked at first but then shouted with excitement as everyone knows that these types of situations never happen very often, while the leaders were only relieved after knowing that everything was over, or so they thought. In the infirmary, everyone who was treated was already in bed while everyone sees how a new bed arrives, and that was none other than Issei. Everyone wondered why he was there until Azazel arrived, and then the princess arrived to see Issei things that were in heat for Rias, whoever she wanted to pick up, but was stopped by her mother. Azazel, what's happening? He said seriously while looking at the doctor. Doctor, we don't know. Azazel-sama just left that dimension and he lost consciousness, he said seriously. Moon, and why does your body act that way? He said worriedly while looking at Issei's body, who is becoming peculiar. Doctor, we don't know, he was already like that when we treated him. The Taito's leaders only looked through a screen made of magic to see Issei's situation. With Azazel, he just sat next to Issei while the other members who participated were there. Azazel, what happened? It seems like you're really suffering, Issei, he said, not very worried. In Issei's mind, the brown-haired boy is seen walking in the darkness. Issei, what's happening? It's very dark, he said worriedly while walking without finding anything. There's a glimmer of light, he said hopefully while running to reach that light. Wait, that's not a light, it's a white star, he said sadly. Who are you? He said seriously while getting into position to attack. So you finally arrived, he said calmly. Issei, who are you? Why are you chained? He said seriously. You see, I don't know how to tell you, but I am you, he said calmly. Issei, wait, what? Damn you, I'm not here to play, tell me who you are, he said seriously. Ha ha ha, okay, so I can explain it to you. Years ago there was a young man who was named the Star Warrior who swore to protect the princess, but the happiness did not last because the kingdom fell in an invasion and I was there facing to protect the queen, but in the end I died before the kingdom of the moon fell. Queen Serenity reincarnated us all. But I did not want to reincarnate, I wanted to pay for my sins that I committed, and I decided to create a person to use that body, and that person is you. You were created by my power to cover the seals so that I would not wake up, he said calmly. Issei, what the hell are you saying? Said Shock. That's right, you were on the verge of freeing me several times. If it weren't for me, I would have woken up a long time ago, he said calmly. Issei, what do you mean by that? He said in shock. The day the fallen angel killed you, the day the demon released the seal on those pieces, the day you were about to be killed by the white dragon, the day you were almost killed by the human with the spear, the day you almost fell to the madness of the ancient bearers of the red dragon, the day of your first encounter with the son of Lucifer. The day you faced the evil dragons, the day you fought desperately to rescue your parents, and the last confrontation with the apocalyptic dragon, all that you were on the verge of death. If it weren't for me, you would have already died, and I had already taken control of that body, he said calmly. Issei, he still finds it hard to believe that, but you didn't tell me why you're chained up, he said in doubt. I made it as a seal so I couldn't take control of his body, he said calmly. Issei, oh I see, and well, how do I get out of here, he said in doubt and with sadness. Ha ha ha, don't worry, there is a door behind you, that's where you will wake up, he said calmly. Issei, oh I see, well I'll go, see you later, he said calmly. I'm sorry my other self can't tell you the truth about that. I hope that one day he forgives me and you can face the biggest fear I've ever had, and you can also fix the time I did, he said sadly in his mind. Out of Issei's mind. The brown-haired boy is slowly waking up and sees next to him all the members who fought in that battle, and next to him is Azazel. Issei, what happened? He said confused. Azazel, Issei is fine, she said worried. Issei, why is my body acting that way? He said worried as he saw white particles coming out of his body. Azazel, we don't even know the doctors, he said worried. Issei, well, I'm still tired, I'll go sleep a little longer, he said while pretending to be sleepy. Azazel, rest well Issei, he said a little worried while watching Issei sleep. In Issei's mind, the brown-haired boy is seen shouting. Issei, Ichiwai, where are you? Can you hear me? There's something I want to ask, he shouted while trying to find where that person is. You know I can't go anywhere, he said calmly. Issei, ha, I'm sorry, well I just wanted to ask you something, he said seriously. Tell me why my body acts like it wants to disappear, he said seriously. It can't be, the seal is supposed to remain intact. I'm sorry, my other self, he said worried. Issei, what's wrong? He said scared. You are about to, he said worried. Issei, no, that's a joke, tell me it's a joke, he said scared with fear while trying not to cry. Chapter 25, A Moment of Confusion Part 3. The chestnut and the chained boy were seen. Issei, no, that's a joke, tell me it's a joke, he said scared with fear while trying not to cry. I'm so sorry, he said worried. Issei falls to the ground. If I disappear, I ask you a favor, he said determined and serious. Tell me, he said seriously. Issei, I don't want him to stop being the person I was, he said seriously. Don't worry, maybe you will disappear, but your memories will join mine, so don't worry about that, he said seriously. Issei, I'm asking you to do it, by the way, you didn't tell me your name, he said calmly as he begins to disappear. My name is the same as yours, my name is Issei, he said calmly as he watched his counterpart disappear more and more. Issei, ha ha ha, I see, it sounds like destiny, don't you think, he said happily while closing his eyes and turning into Pericholas. Don't worry, I, Issei the Star Warrior, will fulfill your words, he said seriously as he sees the particles entering his body and suddenly the chains that were chained break. Outside of Issei's mind. The fallen angel was seen watching Issei as his presence disappeared, but then he became serious when he felt an unknown presence coming out of the brown-haired boy's body. Issei gives the sign to wake up. Azazel, who are you? He said seriously. Issei, he just limited himself to getting up and leaning on the bed. Azazel, did you take over the body again? He said seriously. Issei, I'm sorry, you're confusing me. This is my real body and I am the owner of that body. The guy called Issei, who you know, died. He said seriously. Azazel, damn you, what did you do? He said seriously while creating his spear. These phrases are heard all over the room, even her ex-partner who is surprised, and you see her scared. Issei, the boy you met was just an illusion created with my power. It was an illusion that protected a seal that I myself placed to never wake up again. But that seal was broken by the attack that the Gremry Knight received with the Durandal sword, he said seriously. The black-haired man was going to speak but was interrupted by a girl. Moon, Issei, are you okay? She said worriedly. Issei, princess, there is no need for you to worry about a soldier, he said calmly. Moon, whether you are a soldier or a warrior, to me you are still Issei, the Issei I met in the Silver Millennium, he said happily while grabbing Issei's hand and putting it on the blonde's cheek. Azazel, yes, I see, he said seriously while listening through the magic circle. Listen, everyone who is in the room can go out to meet at the meeting that will take place in a few moments, he said seriously while leaving the room. It took a few minutes for them to be admitted to the hospital. They came out, and one of them was Issei along with the blonde. They all walked to the place where the meeting was going to take place. They arrived at the room, and inside were the leaders and the members lined up behind their corresponding leaders of their race while one of the leaders spoke. Odin, I didn't think that brat was the reincarnation of Star Warrior, he said with a smile. Issei, wow, but if it's Odin you look like you've already made yourself a bag of bones, he said with a smile. Odin, that was rude, brat. I'm still young, brat. Did they not taught you that you should respect your elders? Annoyed cry, Ite, he said in pain as he saw Issei pulling Odin's beard. Issei, you say that they didn't teach me anything, idiot. And that's even though I still haven't forgotten an old man like you with a brain full of perverts. You promised Queen Serenity to protect the princess, he said with a smile while getting angry and at the same time pulling Odin's beard, and that's while I'm acting mild. If the queen were here I wouldn't imagine the pain you would have to endure, he said with a macabre smile. Odin, forgive me Issei-sama, he said with fear and tears. The whole room was left with their mouths open after learning that Odin is afraid of someone. Gondel, it's the first time I've seen Odin act like this. Maybe there was something to fear about that Queen Serenity, she said in her mind, surprised and with her mouth open. Plos plos. A loud noise was heard in the room causing everyone to look to its source, and it was the princess. Princess, Issei, could you leave Aji-sama alone, she said calmly. Issei, this time you were saved, old man, he said seriously. Odin, please save me by Serenity, he said with fear in his mind. Princess, I know that some of you have doubts, you can ask them and I will try to answer, she said calmly. Michael, well, I have a question, of course, if you allow me, he said calmly. Princess, sure, tell me what it is, she said calmly. Michael, a few moments ago, Issei-kun's presence changed from a dragon demon to pure energy like an angel, he said calmly. Princess, Issei would explain that to him, she said calmly. Issei, of course you say that the presence of the demon dragon belongs to the other Issei, and the pure energy is my own energy, he said calmly. Michael, I see, thanks for answering my question, he said calmly. Issei, anyone else, he said calmly. Surzex, he said seriously, your presence is not the same as how we felt. Did you do something, he said seriously. Issei, you mean the old Issei, you see, he was a simple copy created by my power since the only job I left him was to protect the seal that I made myself to avoid waking up as a member of the Moon Kingdom, he said seriously. All the leaders were surprised except Azazel and the members who were in the hospital. But even so, the three biblical factions along with the other alliances spoke with the members of the Moon Kingdom in order to gain more and more confidence until the time came to withdraw. Princess, well, if this would be all the questions, then I will leave with your permission, she said calmly as she leaves the room. Behind the blonde come her guardians and the cats along with Vali, Gasper and Issei. They all teleport to their human world, she squeals, ha, it was a very hard day, she said tiredly. Estagireno, I'm proud this time acting like a true princess leader, she said happily. P. Serena, ha, I just did what I could, she said with a smile. Ray, well, I'm leaving, princess. I'll go see what I can do around the house. Bye, girls. You guys too, she said happily as she detransforms and leaves. Ami, same here, princess, and I'll leave, she said happily as she detransforms and leaves. Serena, yes, the same mind, she said happily while detransforming. The girls left, leaving only the boys serenely together with the cats. Issei, Vali Gasper, you can go, I have something to do with Serena, he said calmly. Vali, okay, we're leaving, are you coming, Gasper, he said calmly. Gasper, well, let's go to a restaurant to eat. I'm very hungry and you guys are Artemis Luna, he said quietly. Artemis, well, we'll go home and see the girls, he said calmly. Luna, we are the same, so see you later, she said calmly as they walked away. Serena and Issei are the only ones left there. Serena, well, Issei, where are we going? She said happily while hugging. Issei, we will go see a person, he said happily. Serena, okay, let's go, she said happily while giving him a kiss. Issei, he tastes Serena's lips as he kisses her again, and then they leave through the magic circle. In Hayata's house. In the living room you could see a blonde boy along with a lazy cat and a lazy monkey sitting in the living room while the whole group of Rias and Sona appeared. Rias, I can't accept it, that's unacceptable, she said annoyed. Sona, Rias, you must calm down or else you will bring problems to your brother, she said seriously. Arthur, hey, what happened? He said seriously. Look at the table where a magic circle appears, mother, he said surprised as he looks at his mother. Arthur's mother, I just wanted to tell you something, she said seriously. Arthur, tell me what it is, he said seriously. Arthur's mother, get your ass ready, your sister Arthur is going to where you are, she said seriously. Arthur, it can't be, it's a joke, he said with fear. Baiko, is he afraid of your sister? He said with a mocking smile. Arthur, shut up, even though I'm older, and she's older too. Fay, she's like a monster, her speed is almost the same as mine, but her power surpasses mine, he said with fear. Oh, so you call your own sister a monster, huh? She said annoyed. Arthur gets scared and looks back slightly and sees his little sister upset. Arturia, he said with fear. Arturia, I told you that if I find out that they made Leify cry, I will make you pay dearly, she said seriously while summoning her sword and attacking Arthur. Arthur, he dodges it and sees the chair split in half. Wait, Arthur, there's an explanation for that, he said with fear. Arturia, you don't have to explain it to me, they already told me that you betrayed the person who respected you and for a reason you betrayed him by making him a traitor, she said seriously while attacking. Rias, hey, stop. You're attacking Gremry's territory, she said seriously. Arturia, don't get involved in other people's business. I'm here punishing Arthur, she said seriously. Zenobia, if you don't stop, I'll stop you, she said seriously while attacking with Duranal. Arturia, upon seeing the attack coming, she only limits herself to stopping it with her sword and then counterattacking. Zenobia, TKS is too strong, she said seriously. Arturia, for the last time, don't interfere, she said seriously while pointing with her sword. Sona, I'm not getting involved, she said seriously while giving a signal to her entourage not to attack him. Arturo, wait, Arturia, we can talk well without fighting, he said worried. Arturia, you better get ready, she said seriously as she launches herself to attack but was stopped by some rays, so tried to intervene. Gremry, she said seriously. Rias, I told you to stop, she said seriously. Arturia, he just stared at Rias but then with his sword he stopped Kaniko's blow but he still counterattacked but was stopped by a barrier. TKS, they are really annoying, she said seriously while attacking and destroying the barrier. Akeno, Ja, throws a lightning bolt at Arturia but sees how she dodges it easily. Kiba, he just limited himself to being on one side watching how they fought, and not only in this also Gasper and Sona along with their group. Sona, JAA doesn't understand Rias, she said seriously while rubbing her eyes. Zenobia, she was going to defend herself from an attack from Arturia but she couldn't resist and fell to the ground. Arturia, after seeing that there was no one left to stand in her way, she goes straight to attack Arthur but notices that a magic circle appears in front of her. Shit, she said worried as she couldn't stop her attack but it was easily rejected. Issei, he was the one who rejected Arturia's attack easily. Ascalon was shown outside and behind him she is Serene. What the hell is going on here in my house, he said annoyed. Arturia, Joey, he was able to make me back off, she said surprised in her mind. HAA, another one who tries to get in my way, who are you, she said seriously while pointing her sword. Issei, I am Hayata Issei and this is my house, he said seriously while pointing with his sword. Arturia, hey, you're Hayata Issei, the person I admired, he said surprised. Issei, I'm doing it, he said confused. Wait, who are you, he said confused. Arturia, I'm sorry, my name is Arturia Pendragon, Arthur's younger sister and Lefay's older sister, she said calmly while shaking his hand to greet him. Issei, wait, you have another sister, he said surprised while looking at Arthur and greeting Arturia. Arthur never mentioned to me that he had a sister, just like I did, he said surprised. Arturia, so you fooled everyone that I didn't have another sister, huh? She said with an evil smile. Arthur, I knew what that smile meant. Issei, by the way, why is my house all destroyed? He said seriously. Arturia, oh, I'm sorry, I only came for Arthur, but I was interfered by Gremory, she said embarrassed. Damn, you didn't tell me he was an opposite and cute boy, she said in her mind while doing everything possible not to blush. Issei, well, I'll pass it to you, but he said calmly, Gremory, I want to see the house fixed or I'll claim your brother. Annoyed shout, sound where my parents are, he said calmly. Sona, they went on a trip, she said calmly. Issei, and you know where he went, he said calmly. Sona, she told me that if you were to ask, I should tell you that they are in their homeland, she said calmly. Issei, oh, I see, thanks, and by the way. One Sona, make sure that Gremory fixes that mess, please. 2 Arthur, I need you to return to your house with your sister or I will do it by force. And 3 Arturia, you can tell your parents that I would like to talk to them later. I'll send them off that day, he said calmly. Arturia, sure, she said calmly as she stands next to Arthur and takes him away in a magic circle. Issei, see you later, Sona, he said calmly as he leaves with Serena in a magic circle. Sona, come on Rias, fix that skill or you'll give your brother problems, she said seriously. Rias, TKS, gets upset. With Issei. The chestnut arrived at his homeland, which was his father's Maidel land. The chestnut arrived through the forest. Serena, so this is your father's homeland, she said happily as she walked holding his arm. Issei, that's right, look, we're here. I see he's eating, he said happily. Heyo Tosunoka-san, he said happily. Mickey's surprised face. Issei, how did you get here? She said surprised. Goru, it's Issei, he said surprised. Issei, I was looking for it, he said happily. I want to introduce my girlfriend to you, he said happily. Mickey, oh, I'll be Chan, she said surprised. Goru, it's Serena-chan, I didn't recognize her, you've become very beautiful, he said surprised. Serena, haha, thanks, blushes after hearing that she's beautiful. Issei, wait, how does he know his name if I didn't tell him? He said confused as well as Serena. Mickey, oh dear, honey, I told you that one day you were going to get together, right? Show him, honey, I think you have one, she said happily. Goru, true, takes out his wallet and shows her a photo. Issei and Serena-chan were both childhood friends and your mom said that one day they would be a couple, but at first I didn't believe it until now that I'm seeing it, he said happily. Issei/Serena, what? They shouted in surprise. Chapter 26, Issei and Serena. Issei/Serena, what? They shouted in surprise. Both were surprised since they don't remember that part, but Issei's father made him remember, making them both blush until Issei meets his grandmother. The grandmother asked him what he was doing, but Issei just lied to her, a school trip, while he gives a sign with his face to his parents and Serena to continue playing the game. They just talked for a while, but then Issei and Serena wanted to leave, but his grandmother insisted that they stay tonight and that she would fix her school problem. Of course Issei wanted to deny it, but Serena accepted it, and they decided to be clear. She also told her grandmother that they were both already a couple. Grandma, don't worry son, here you can sleep with your girlfriend in the meantime. Try not to give me great-grandchildren early, she said happily while looking at Serena and Issei inside the room. Issei, Grandma, it's too early for this, he said nervously. I'm sorry, Serena, he said blushing. Serena, don't worry, your grandmother is very kind, she said blushing, but she has it more marked. I'm alone with Issei. It's better to take advantage, she said nervously in her mind. No, Issei, she said calmly. Issei, tell me, he said calmly, but then he is surprised because he receives a kiss. Serene, he said surprised. Serena, don't say anything, she said blushing while hugging him. Let me hug you, after so long I could finally hug you, she said sadly. Issei, what happened that day is nothing important. I know that you were bewitched by him. I'm not mad at you, but at them, he said calmly. Serena, if you weren't mad at me, then why did you reject me when I tried to talk to you? She said sadly. Issei, I was just upset, that's all, he said calmly. But now let's forget about that, that's in the past. We have to live in the present and prepare for our future, he said calmly. Serena, Issei, she said calmly while giving him another kiss. Issei receives the kisses until she stops. Wait calmly, it's better to have a barrier so they don't hear, he said calmly while raising his hand and creating a magic circle. Now yes, he said calmly while grabbing Serena's hip and sticking to Issei and giving him a kiss. Issei was the one who was taken first as he began to slowly remove Serena's shirt, and then her skirt. Serena is not far behind as she takes off Issei's shirt, while looking at his torso marked from so much training. Serena, you know, I'm surprised. Before you didn't have it so marked and now you do, she said nervously since it was her first time touching a guy's shirtless torso. Issei, it's because of all the training I did before, he said calmly. Issei continued kissing her until he even took off Serena's underwear, just as Serena took Issei's underwear off, and so they both had their first time, things that happen almost all night until dawn. Issei and Serena had already finished having their first time, they both fell asleep. In the mind. He saw the chestnut walking while he spoke. Issei, Drake, are you there? He said calmly. Drake, what's up, bro? You don't know how I'm trying to sleep after that noise you made, haha. I think I'm going to get traumatized, he said sadly while trying not to cry. Issei, I'm sorry, he said nervously, but changing the subject he wanted to talk about what's happening with my power, he said seriously. Drake, after changing his yawning personality, there was a change that hit him hard, he said seriously. Issei, explain, he said seriously. Drake, that's right, first your other self was a demon dragon, but now he's gone and your body uses the presence of another race, making Greer yawn and disagree, he said seriously. Issei, in short, I can't use my power and yours at the same time, he said seriously. Drake, that's right, it's like water and oil, you'll have to find a way to be able to use those powers at the same time, he said seriously. Issei, and what happened to the power of Great Red in Office, he said seriously. Drake, those powers had synchronized with your other self, but as you can see, your other self disappeared, meaning it became part of you, but it is no longer the same, and knowing that those powers no longer exist, their bearer had to return to their owner, he said seriously. Issei, well, it doesn't worry me. I can defend myself with Ascalon, he said calmly. Drake, what if someone as powerful as a god comes? He said as if nothing happened. Issei, damn it Drake, don't make it difficult for me, he said annoyed. Drake, ha 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 ha, whatever, you should go. Your girl is about to wake up and you and I will also try to find a solution to be able to use your powers properly, he said calmly. Issei, yes, we'll see each other, he said calmly as he leaves. Out of mind. The brown-haired boy is seen waking up and looks to his side where he sees the blonde sleeping but also gives the sign that he is waking up. Issei, how did you wake up, princess? He said happily while giving her a kiss. Serena, ma Issei, I feel like you were very rude, it still hurts, she said a little upset while getting up showing her chest. Issei, shit, he's still young and he has it big, he said calmly while looking at Serena's chest. Serena, ma Issei, stop looking there, she said a little annoyed while covering herself. Issei, ha ha ha, sorry, he said nervously. Serena, come on, we have to get up, maybe they are already waiting for us, she said calmly. Issei, calm down, my parents get up very late, as does my grandmother, he said as if nothing had happened. Hey, you're changing, he said surprised. Serena, yes, because sleeping without clothes is very uncomfortable, or at least putting my underwear on, she said calmly. Issei, okay, he said as if nothing, but at least let me hug you, he said calmly as he approaches Serena. Serena, she doesn't say anything while enjoying the arm but then is interrupted. Mickey, Issei, Seer-chan are awake, come to have breakfast, she said calmly. Serena, no, he wakes up late, she said in doubt. Issei, maybe they're excited to see you, I think, he said calmly. Issei and Serena began to change and then left the room and went to lunch that lasted almost an hour and a half. Both couples wanted to leave, but their grandmother demanded that they stay a while and then talk to the teachers, things that the couples could not but accept, and ended up saying goodbye. Serena, I'm surprised that your parents know about your existence, she said calmly as she walked to the place where she arrived the day before. Issei, they discovered me in the worst way. They were attacked by demons, and that's where they learned my nature, he sighed. Serena, how bad. I hope the same thing doesn't happen to my parents, she said with a little fear. Well, let's go home, she said happily. Issei, wait, princess, I would like to ask you something, he said calmly. Serena, tell me, she said in doubt. Issei, as you know, in one part 1 I'm a dragon, and that means that there will be more girls who are in love with me. There is a chance that they will become my partners. I hope you do not get upset, but even if I love you, he said seriously while waiting for the reaction. Serena, don't worry, I understand you well, and of course it won't bother me. The only thing I ask is that they clarify their true feelings. I won't accept anyone who is interested, she said calmly while caressing the brown-haired boy's cheek and then giving him a kiss. The couple returned to the park, and from there they went to Rei's house, and that's where they found everything. Serena was the one who clarified that Issei and she were already a couple. Everyone happily accepted it, while one had to screw everything up if it was Gasu who told him that Serena was already marked by Issei, of course, without mentioning that he explained the meaning of the mark, and Haruka was the one who transformed and chased Issei. Issei, hey Sailor Uranus, calm down, he said with fear while running around the temple, that is, Rei's house. Jupiter. Like, take away the princess's innocence, she said annoyed while chasing him with her sword. They both went around for almost 10 minutes until they calmed down. Issei, well princess, I have to go, there is something I have to do, he said calmly while looking at his girl. And you Luna girls told me that you left the house without permission, so don't go out or I'll take those sweets from you, he said seriously. Serena, yes Issei, take care of yourself, she said calmly as she watched the brown-haired boy leave. The chestnut tree left the house and walked towards the stairs that he had in the king's temple. Issei, well, where do I start? There's something I have to do. I think it would make it easier for me to go with her, he said calmly as he went down the stairs, but then he stopped and activated his magic circle, which took him straight to that place. It only takes a few minutes for a circle to appear in the garden. Roast chicken, he said seriously while watching Razor lying on a beach chair. Razor, MMO, but you're such a bucking pervert, he said seriously while he saw Issei standing in front. Issei, I hope I didn't bother you, he said calmly. Razor, what is your visit? He said seriously. Issei, it's obvious I came to see Ravel, he said calmly. Razor, oh it's okay, he said as if nothing happened while lying down. Yubelula walked to my parents, he said seriously. Yubelula, yes Razor-sama, she said seriously. Issei-sama, come with me, she said calmly. Issei, who was accompanied by Yubelula, who guided him to a visiting room. Yubelula, please Issei-sama, we'll be waiting here soon, she said calmly. Issei, thank you Yubelula-san, he said calmly as he sat down. Yubelula, she had already left and walked until she found her leader, Richar-sama. Ilaria-sama, Issei-sama is waiting for you in the guest room, she said calmly. Ilaria, honey, she said seriously. Richar, if you show up, the time has come, he said seriously. Ilaria, please Yubelina, gather my children together, please, she said seriously. Yubelina, yes, she said seriously. Ravel's parents walked to the visiting room and found Issei sitting waiting, and the brown-haired boy upon seeing him arrive got up to greet him, but Ilaria told Issei to wait a little longer since she wanted her children to be here. It only took a few minutes until they arrived. Issei-sama, she said surprised. Chapter 27, Healing Our Bonds, Trusted Friends Return. There was an awkward atmosphere until someone spoke up. Richar, well, hi to Issei, what do you want to talk about? He said seriously. Issei, first I want to apologize for the way I treated you, he said seriously while crouching. Ilaria, don't worry, I understand what happened that day, she said seriously. Issei, as you know, the demon leaders announced that I betrayed him, but that was not true, but even so, I have come to find a way to return as before, he said seriously. Richard, what do you mean? He said seriously. Issei, I want Ravel to be my manager again, he said seriously while the blonde blushes. Ilaria, Jujuju, if you ask me, there is no way we can refuse, she said happily. Issei, thank you, I'm sure I'll take care of him, he said calmly. Richard, I suppose that Ravel will go to live in the princess's territory, since I also want Ravel to become the representative of the Phoenix clan. If the princess wants our help, do not hesitate to ask Ravel, he said calmly. Ravel, he is so happy that he can't hold back the urge to hug him, Issei-sama, he said happily while hugging. Ravel, I'm glad. If it's for Ravel's happiness I agree to support the alliance, he said happily. Razor, take care of her or I'll roast you, he said seriously. Ilaria, I guess you should pick up your things, don't you dare, she said happily. Issei, if you want, start packing your things while I go see someone else, he said happily as he gets up and leaves through the magic circle. Ilaria, Ravel, this is your chance to make him fall in love with you, she said happily while speaking in Ravel's ear. Ravel just blushed while nodding. Elsewhere, reporters were seen talking to an heiress. Reporter, tell me what they will do about the former heir Diodora Astaroth, since a year ago he was the one who betrayed the underworld, he said seriously. Latia, we are looking for a way to clear the name of the Astaroth clan, she said seriously. Reporter, tell me what you will do about the Security betrayal, she said seriously. Latia, I really don't believe he betrayed us, she said seriously. Reporter, tell me how Security's relationship with the clan is going. Do you still have hatred towards this clan? She said seriously. Latia, the truth is that, she said nervously while not knowing what to say. I left that hatred behind a long time ago, he said calmly. Reporter, it's Security, tell me what you'll do about the Astaroth clan, she said seriously. Issei, I came to tell you to calm down. Now Astaroth has my support. I do not hate the Astaroth clan but the former heir Diodora Astaroth, he said seriously, so please it is necessary that you stop giving him problems since this is where the case ends. Astaroth will rise again with the help of Security, he said seriously while watching how the reporters said that he had finished his interview and they left. Latia, thank you for helping me, please would you like to accompany me inside? She said calmly. Issei, sure, after all I would like to talk to you, he said calmly while scratching his cheek. Latia, now it's too early for you to ask me, but if you really want children, I'll give you children, she said happily and blushing. Issei, I didn't mean that. Well, the truth is that you are beautiful but I can't force you to do that, he said blushing. Latia, now you told me that if you wanted to she said blushing while lowering her shirt a little, showing a little of her underwear. Issei, he stared at that place but then he recomposed himself. Better forget it now, he said blushing but could not speak anymore as he was interrupted by a kiss. Latia, the truth is that I like you. I have liked you for a long time since the first day you participated in the meeting of young demons. All that time I was keeping this feeling until now, she said calmly and angrily while hugging Issei. Issei, okay, I'll accept it, but I still have to talk to the princess, he said blushing. Era, my cold daughter already has someone she likes, she said happily. Latia, mother, he said blushing. Lady, don't worry daughter, it's normal for him to act that way, she said happily. Tell me Security, thank you for supporting us, she said while bowing. Issei, please get up, it's not necessary, he said nervously. Lord, it's a pleasure to see you, tell me what you want, he said calmly. Issei, the truth is I'm looking for a way to return like before. I know Lucifer said that we were betrayed but that wasn't really the case, but I'm still looking for a way to return like before, he said calmly. Lady, Era, she said happily, I wouldn't mind if Latia went to the human world so I could do as before, she said happily. Latia, she is happy, yes, she said happily while jumping to give him another kiss. Latia's parents just smiled, making the couple blush. Latia, along with the help of her personal maid, gathered her clothes enough to go to the human world. Issei told Latia that he would stop by Ravel. Of course Latia was not upset since Ravel and Latia get along well, things that both girls talked about their secret love for the brown-haired boy. Issei arrived in the human world with Ravel and Latia outside their house, but sees how Vali along with Gasu and the girls together with the cats and the warriors were surprised the house was no longer small but almost a mansion. Ravel explained that her parents together with Latia's parents improved the house so they could live peacefully. Of course, they also told the girls things that they were happy about since they were thinking of having a party there and welcoming Latia and Ravel. Issei told Serena that he would go see the last person and her partner accepted, while they stayed to meet Latia and Ravel. Serena, well, the others are having fun while I'll have a girl talk with Ravel-san and Latia-san, she said happily. Issei, of course I hope you have fun, he said happily as he disappears from the magic circle. In Pendragon's house. A blond boy was seen kneeling and in front of him were his parents. Lord, I will let you go home, but in exchange I should take out that maid, he said seriously. Arthur, I refuse, he said seriously. Lord, so you're still like this, huh? He said seriously. Please forgive Arturo-sama and I will get out of here, he said with supplication while bowing to the ground next to Arthur's father. Arthur, Eleni please, he said seriously. If you want to expel that girl, I'll gladly accept it, he said seriously with a lustful smile. Arthur, don't you dare touch it, he said seriously. I don't care about your words, your father said he will give me that maid in exchange for leaving that family alone, he said seriously. Arthur, father, annoyed cry. I can't let that go, he said seriously. Lord, you are Sekiryudai, he said seriously. Issei, hello, it's a pleasure to speak to you, Lefei's father, he said happily. Who are you to say that, he said seriously. Issei, I will recruit Elaine so as not to be abused by an idiot like you, he said seriously. He is hired to Issei Artusha, she said calmly. Arturia, yes, she said happily. Issei, nice to see you again Arturia, and she is, he said calmly. Oh, I'm sorry, my name is Jean de l'Arc, she said calmly with a smile while she stared and that made her blush a little. Arturia looks more opposite than you described to me, she said blushing in her mind. Issei, Jean, isn't that girl who was next to Chow Chow, he said surprised. Jean, oh please don't mention it, it bothers me knowing that she used my name to cause problems for you guys, she said annoyed while rubbing her eyes. Issei, ha ha ha, I'm sorry, he said sadly. TKS imbecile, don't ignore me, he said seriously. Issei, who is he said in doubt asking Arturia. Arturia, he is the son of an important family who has come to ask for Lefei's hand since he found out about the betrayal that they allegedly did, she said calmly. Issei just stares at that boy. I won't let them take away my favorite magician, he said seriously. An uncomfortable atmosphere was generated. Arturia looked at Issei with a slight blush while Jean called his attention. Arthur remained silent, watching the situation. Lord remained analyzing what happened while Lady just smiled. Ha ha ha, who are you to come to that girl? He said seriously and annoyed. Issei, you said girl, I'm doing it, he said seriously while slowly expelling his power. He just stayed silent while trying to withstand the pressure caused by Issei's power. Issei, you couldn't even withstand a little of my power, you could resist this pressure more, he said seriously. You better go or I'll go give your family problems if that's what you want, he said seriously. The young man was almost scared in his pants while Lefei's parents invited him to have tea with their son and their other guest Jean, while the maid who was about to throw him out received the order to call Lefei. Elaine arrives at the entrance of the room and decides to knock. Lefei, what do they want? He said without enthusiasm. Elaine, you have a guest who wants to talk to you, she said calmly. Lefei, if he comes to take my hand, tell him I refuse, he said without enthusiasm. Elaine, now that means that you are no longer interested in that boy holding your hand, she said with a smile, and by that boy I mean Sekiryudai, she said calmly. Lefei Sekiryudai, he said with little enthusiasm. Elaine, yes, I mean Hayate Issei-sama is in the guest room, she said calmly, but out of nowhere the door opens, and she sees how Fei falls on him. Lefei, where is it? She said almost crying. Elaine, she's in the guest room, she said happily, but sees how she runs. Wait, you can't leave like that, she screamed scared. Le Fay did not care what he said. He ran to the room where he was, and when he opened the door he saw Issei talking calmly. Le Fay, Issei-sama, he said happily. Issei, hi, I'm doing it, he said happily. But what, he said blushing. Le Fay, she doesn't understand Issei's reaction, and then looks at the mirror that was hanging on the wall behind Le Fay and sees that he came out of his room all messy, his pajamas, his hair all as if he had never fixed it. And it looked like one of his chest was almost coming out of his clothes, and he blushes. Kyaa. He tries to cover himself while creating a magic circle. Issei, wait, what are you going to do? He said scared. The castle shook hard and Issei is seen thrown out the window that was caused by the explosion. Chapter 28. Healing Our Bonds, Trusted Friends Return Part 2. The brown-haired boy is seen with an ice bag on his head as he moaned in a little pain. Arthur just looked away while holding back his laughter but was elbowed by Elaine. Arturia laughed. Jean held back her laughter, as did Le Fay's father and mother, with just a light giggle. Le Fay, I'm really sorry, Issei-sama, she said sadly while putting the ice on Issei. Issei, nothing is wrong, really, he said calmly while putting ice on the part that hurt. Lord, tell me why you have come, young Issei, he said calmly. Issei, in truth, with you, the factions gave her the most problems. But first I'll go that way. Tell me, would she still be by my side no matter who I am? He said seriously. Le Fay, if it's Issei-sama, I don't care, and I would stay by his side, she said calmly and happily while grabbing Issei's hand. Issei, who explained to Le Fay's parents along with his Pendragon family and Jean about his strange behavior, explained about Issei, who he knew very well, was created by himself to protect a seal that he had that was broken after receiving Zenovia's attack, and that he also said that he disappeared being part of it. He also explained his relationship with the Princess of the Moon who became his partner, and also about the Moon Kingdom. The Pendragon family was surprised, and Issei was only expecting their annoyed reaction, but he was surprised by what Le Fay said. Le Fay, I don't care if you're not the Issei-sama that I know. It doesn't matter if you belong to that faction of the Moon Kingdom. I don't care if you're dating someone, but what matters most to me is that you let me walk by your side on any path you choose, she said happily while grabbing Issei's hand. Issei, thank you for accepting me for who I am and not hating me, he said happily. Le Fay, because I would hate it, I admit it, and I would also like to learn more about that kingdom, she said happily while putting her head on Issei's shoulder. Issei, by the way, tell me, wouldn't you like to create our magician summoning side again? He said happily. Le Fay, yes, he said happily. Issei and Le Fay made their pact seal again. Le Fay's parents just smiled at Le Fay's happiness. Arthur is also happy since he was able to fix the mistake he made. Arturia, who began to feel a little jealous, as well as Jean. Well, it was obvious she did not show her sign of jealousy, but like a normal person. Le Fay's mother, who told her that she could go where Issei is and be able to study like a normal girl, things that made Le Fay happier, and she couldn't stand it, and gave Issei a kiss, something that took everyone by surprise. Issei, who is blushing and does the same to him. Lord, by the way, what did security no Issei Dano say about Elaine? He said seriously. Issei, what I was saying is true. Elaine won't have to work for another family if I can't collect for a maid in the Moon Kingdom, he said calmly while looking at the maid. Lord, MMMIC, well, you're right, but I can make them change their minds, he said seriously. You can make Elaine serve you and make her your personal maid, he said seriously. Issei, well, the truth is, he said a little nervously while scratching his cheek. Well, whatever Le Fay and Elaine say is fine with me, he said seriously. Le Fay, Elaine can live with us and with Issei-sama, she said happily while grabbing Issei's arm. Elaine, if Issei-sama wants me to be close to you along with Le Fay-sama, it is my duty, she said seriously. Issei, ha ha ha, what does it matter? It's okay, you can come to my house, he said seriously. By the way, Arthur, there is no need to get nervous. It may be that I am a pervert thanks to my other self, but I will never put my hand on a woman who has an owner in her heart. After all, I can feel a strong desire to be together, he said seriously. Arthur, just tense after knowing that he was discovered. Le Fay, you can feel the desire, she said curiously while her family also pays attention. Issei, yes, it is an ability that the star blessed me with. Although I can only feel that slight desire since I still have not recovered my strength, he said calmly. Good, let's go, he said happily. Le Fay, yes, he said happily as he said goodbye to his parents. Issei along with Le Fay and Elaine retired to their house. Issei, who accompanied him to his house, which was almost a mansion, upon entering he meets his friends playing World Tourism. Of course Serena, who was already Issei's partner, received Le Fay and Elaine. Meanwhile Issei told her that he was going out to buy some things. While on the way he meets someone. So you are my securite, he said seriously. You are very different. There is no doubt that I took away my power, he said seriously. Issei, you are, he said seriously. Drake, Big Red Sama, he said surprised. Red answer, he said seriously, you are no longer worthy of using my power, because, he said seriously. Issei, it doesn't matter. I don't like to use power that isn't mine except for Drake, who is already part of me. But your power and the power of infinity don't belong to me, he said seriously. I'm not surprised that those powers have disappeared, he said seriously. Red, ha ha ha, you are very proud, he said with a smile. Tell me, don't you want me to give you a test? If you manage to overcome my debt, I will return these powers to you, he said seriously. Issei, I am not proud and I also refuse. I do not deserve to be a dragon demigod, he said seriously. Rojo, why do you say that? He said seriously. Issei, because if you give me that power in the future there will be consequences that could even give you a painful death, he said seriously. Red, you're challenging me, brat, he said annoyed. Issei, I just noticed that someone is after your head, he said seriously. Rojo, who would have said that? He said seriously. Issei? Said seriously. Red, how do you know that? He said seriously. Issei, I don't know, I've just heard, so don't bother me. Red, and you better start doing your job well, stop being lazy, he said seriously while walking. Red, maybe he's right, ha ha ha, he said in a defeated voice while creating a dimensional entrance portal and entering to leave the world. Issei walked towards the store but stops and sees several butterflies flying next to Issei. The brown-haired boy did not understand what was happening, but he continued walking until he reached the store and bought what he wanted and returned to the house. Things that were fun, even Issei explained to all the warriors along with the cats and the boys, saying that Ravel along with Latia are representatives of their clan in a show of total support. When the Moon Kingdom is in trouble, not to hesitate to ask for support from the Phoenix clan, and the Astaroth clan also goes the same with Le Fay. Everyone had fun, they even stayed to sleep there since it had several rooms for visitors, while meanwhile Issei goes out on the terrace looking at the moon. Issei, I wonder how long the peace will last. My existence is capable of bringing destruction to this world, he said seriously. Drake, partner, are you afraid of something? He said seriously. Issei, I'm not just worried about the future, and by the way, don't tell anyone what I said or else there will be a change that could have consequences in the future. Leave it like that, let the day make its own history in this world, he said seriously. Drake, if it's something too important to keep, I swear on my pride as a celestial dragon that I won't say anything I hear, he said seriously. Issei, thanks Drake, you are a good companion, he said happily while looking at his hand that showed a green gem. Well, we have to try to sleep with Serena, he said, a little bored. Drake, don't traumatize me again like last time, he said with a little fear and scared. Issei, not like you think, he said with a smile. Someone to help us. A voice that sounded in the place where Issei was. The brown-haired boy was confused as was Drake, but even if the brown-haired boy closed his eyes trying to locate the strong desire, it only took a few minutes until he opened his eyes. Issei, that wish came from near Ko, what's happening? He said seriously as he disappears through the magic circle. Issei, who has already transported to that place was a forest covered by the moonlight, and decides to walk further in and finds the Citri group, and in front were three girls. That Issei was very surprised, but his reaction changes. One of the Citri knights was about to attack one of those girls from behind. Issei does not hesitate to stop her with Ascalon. Citri group, hiya to Issei-sen/senpai/kun, said surprised. Girls, you are, she said surprised. Issei, I'm very sorry Rhea, but I know them, he said seriously. Sona, you know them, she said seriously. Issei, yes, he said seriously while looking at the girls. If I remember correctly, her name is Kane Shinobu and Kaneo, right? He said seriously. Kane, era, how do you know us? He said with a smile. Citri group. It's the same as Akeno's masochist, she said, surprised in her mind. Shinobu, who are you? She said, annoyed while pointing with her katana. Issei, hey, calm down, Shinobu, it's me, Issei, the Star Warrior, he said nervously. Shinobu, Issei, wait, what's happening? I only remember that I died and then I woke up walking in the forest, she said, confused. Issei, well, as I told you first, if it's true you died during the battle with that demon, the second he woke up already walking in the forest, it's because I asked someone so that everyone who knew me would forget about me. Better said, I sealed that memory, and the last one what is fighting are not the demons that you know them, they are the real demons, what's more they walk in the light, and the last one we are already in a different generation, he said seriously while he had his eyes closed. The three sisters just remained silent from so much information, while the Citri girls were surprised by what Issei said. Issei, I'm sorry Sona, I think I'll take it, he said nervously. Issei, who is about to take the sisters, takes the opportunity to mend his broken ties with Sona to become friends again like before, but he is stopped by Sona, who said that she would never betray a good friend like Issei. They only spent almost an hour talking until Issei decides to return with the sisters. Issei bought a hotel room for the sisters to rest, and that another day they would come to talk about the situation that is happening. Issei, that's going to get ugly, he said seriously. How will I explain to Serena about them? He said seriously while looking at Serena, who was sleeping peacefully. In the underworld, you could see some upset people, a queen, a demon, and the 5 men who were gathered together. There's not much time left before Trihexa is released again, he said seriously. Damn Princess of the Moon, don't think this is going to stay like this. One day I will get that silver crystal, she said, annoyed. Issei, Star Warrior, don't think I'll forget about you, damn bastard, you're going to pay for this, he said seriously. I guess by uniting our hatred maybe we will win that battle, he said seriously with a smile. Chapter 29, Enjoying Life and Training. At Issei's house, the brown-haired boy is seen waking up and looks to his side and sees that she is not Serena. He gets up and walks towards the hallway and walks down, but then he gets a delicious smell and goes to the kitchen and sees Serena, and next to her is Sasha along with Ami and Mina. Sasha, hello Issei, I'm sorry I came without notice, she said happily. Issei, don't worry, you can come here whenever you want, he said calmly. Ravel, hello Issei-sama, I prepared your favorite pie, do you want it? She said calmly while giving him a piece of the pie she prepared. Issei, he tries the pie, it's delicious as always, your pies and cakes turn out well, he said happily. Gasu, that smell made me wake up. I think it's that pie, right? He said eagerly. Ravel, Gasu-sama, if you want one I'll give it to you, he said happily. Gasu, come on, there's no need to tell me about it, he said calmly. Issei, you can also call me by name, he said happily. Ravel, yes, I'm sorry, she said blushing. After a few minutes you see the others going down while the brown-haired boy looked at his place, and you see how with that little time that he has known the warriors his allies have increased. In addition, the brown-haired boy sees each one of the boys who were there, who were Vali, Gasu, Artemis, and the girls were the ones who were there, and they were Serena, Mina, Rei, Ami, Haruka, Michiru, Hataru, Setsuna, Lefei, Ravel, Sasha, Latia, Luna, and not counting the girls, but that was interrupted by someone. The brown-haired boy went to see the entrance, and was surprised who was there. Hello, Haida Issei, she said calmly. Issei, Elmenhild, what's happening? He said surprised. Elmenhild, well, it was a little difficult for me to find him, but I came to see your leader. Right, that's Valerie. She belongs to the Teeps clan, who was also sent by their leader, she said calmly. Valerie, I'm sorry to arrive like that, she said calmly. Issei, who let those 2 vampires enter to talk to their leader while the others are surprised at what is happening, and even if they had their meeting which calms down who is the leader, not only the vampires but also Sasha, who introduced herself as the reincarnation of the goddess Athena, things that were surprised. Issei, what makes you so thoughtful, princess? He said calmly as he watched Serena sitting enjoying the outside. Serena, nothing, I'm just surprised by the alliance we won. Look at this Ravel and Latia, who are presenting on behalf of their family. This is Lefei-san, who also says that their family is willing to support the Moon Kingdom. Not only her, the vampires Teach and Carmelia also arrived, and finally the reincarnation of the goddess Athena, she said surprised. Issei, it's okay like this, it's better to have allies and not enemies, he said calmly. By the way, Serena, in the afternoon I will introduce you to a few people, he said calmly. Serena, ma. Issei, yes, he said calmly. Serena, okay, I'll be waiting for you, she said calmly. Issei, I'll be right back, he said calmly, gives her a kiss and leaves. 2 hours later. Everyone was seen gathering, chatting and having fun while some started playing until Issei appeared, who was behind some people. Serena, Molly, she said surprised. Molly, Serena, what's going on here, Issei? Don't tell me they're not human either, she said surprised. Issei, listen, we have a new member who just entered the supernatural world. It's Molly, who is the bearer of the purple fire, he said seriously as he sits down. Vali, you're joking, he said seriously. Issei, no, I saw him burn a fallen angel myself, he said seriously. Gasu, he wants us to train him, he said seriously. Issei, that's right, he said seriously. Molly-san, I know it's hard, but you'll have to train to be able to control that fire and also give you an explanation about the races. I can leave that to Ravel, he said calmly. Hey Ravel, will you do me that favor and you'll do the same for him? It's necessary for him to learn something to be able to defend himself and a little information about the races, he said calmly. Ravel/Lefei, let's leave it to ourselves, she said happily while raising her hand, but then they look at each other and smile. Setsuna, and them, she said a little calmly. Issei, that is a little complicated, but the truth is, how do I explain it? Once I lost consciousness, but I don't know what happened exactly. I felt like my soul was transported to the past, and that is where I met them. They were known as demon hunters. They married demons of another species, but they are not the demons we knew, he said seriously. Kane, that's right, the demons couldn't come to light, but they are the ones that gave us the most problems. We have always looked for their king of those demons called Musen Kibajusi, and we never found him. But when we met Issei, thanks to him, we were able to get to where that demon was. But that battle led to our death, and we don't know if we managed to eliminate them or not, she said seriously. Ami, demons who fear the light, she said in doubt. Ray, we met the demons who take care of Ku and they walk in the light calmly, she said calmly. Michiru, the question is if he says that battle led to his death, how are you still alive? He said he seriously doubted. Issei, well, the truth is, as Kane said, the battle led to their deaths. A few humans died, approximately 300 hunters or more. Those who were near me, I tried to heal them, but in the end they died, and well, I had no option of reincarnation, he said a little sad. Michiru, sorry, I didn't want to remind you of what happened, she said calmly. Sasha, well, reincarnation doesn't surprise me. After all, I'm the reincarnation of the goddess Athena, she said calmly. Serena, you could introduce yourself to us, she said calmly. Kane, yes, I'm sorry, my name is Kane Kochu and this is Shinobu Kochu and this is Kaneo Tsuyuri, she is my adopted sister, she said happily. Everyone introduced themselves, even the girls were talking and playing at the same time, but due to a mistake the girls commented. Q Mama, she said calmly while pulling Kaneo's magic wand. Everyone is surprised and at the same time remains in doubt if it is really what he said. Issei, Rini come, said calmly. Rini gets a little scared as Abissei approaches. Issei, I guess he's hiding something, he said seriously. Rini, well, the truth is that, she said nervously. Kyo, Daddy is upset with us, he said a little sadly. The girls, when they realized what she had said, all covered their mouths, but it was too late. Vala, wait, if she is Chibi sadder and says that her father is Issei, she said in doubt. Gasu looks at Issei but then looks at Hataru, looks at Issei again and then at Hataru and looks at Issei again. Wow, Issei, I didn't know you were actually a damn Lilican, said Neutral. Issei, shut up you bucking bird, he said annoyed. Well, If you are Hataru's daughter, tell me who else is your mother, he said in doubt. She takes out a photo and shows it to Issei. Issei, he is surprised, damn it, he's already taken me to the drought, he said, a little scared. Serena, Issei, what's happening? She said, surprised to see Issei's panic. Serena takes the photo from Issei and looks at him, which causes her to blush. So that's my future, she said in her mind. Everyone except the girls and Issei came to see the photo, which caused many emotional reactions, and so it was all day, pure fun. The next day, everyone returned to their schools, including the new ones Ravel, Latia, Sasha, Lefei, who are the new ones. Meanwhile at Issei's house there are the two vampires along with Elaine. Everything was going well, but what left the most speechless was Lefei, who also found out that her sister Arturia, along with her friend Jean, also entered the school where everyone went. Lefei was asking the reason she came here, and Jean tried to tell her that it was a bad idea from Arturia. But Arturia also tells her reason, which she wants to know Issei. Serena, she stayed listening to the conversation of the sisters. I feel that I will not be the only one. Perhaps there are more that could even surpass what I imagined, she said in her mind, not very jealous. Elsewhere, a group of upset boys could be seen. Darien, I can't believe it. I'm disgusted to remember that imbecile, he said angrily. Jadeite, after all, he was the one who cursed the town. Thanks to him the town fell into great misfortune, he said annoyed. Nephrite, we have to come up with a plan to eliminate him once and for all, he said annoyed. Queen, hey, don't forget about me. I even want to kill that guy because of him. I didn't achieve my goal, she said annoyed. With Issei, you can see the chestnut tree outside in the courtyard, and next to them are Lefei and Ravel, and in front of them is Molly, who shows her tiredness. Ravel, Issei-san, don't you think you're ignoring her? I mean, she already looks tired, she said calmly. Molly, don't worry about my Ravel-san, I will continue with this training, she said tired and sore. Issei, well, since you trained for 15 minutes of resistance training, now you must train to control your magic, he said seriously. I leave Lefei in your hand, he said calmly. Lefei, leave it to me, he said happily. This was a tough training for Molly. Not only her but everyone in the house also trained at their own pace. The next day, the chestnut was walking, and next to him was Gasu and Vala, who was talking about a subject. Issei, everything is calm as long as he doesn't wake up. It's okay, because if he does wake up I won't know if I'll be able to face him, he said, not very calm. Drake, partner, who is that person you fear so much? He said seriously, his mind in doubt. Issei, hey girls, I have an idea. I don't know if you would like it, he said calmly, causing everyone to look. What if we have a feast, but not just us, but also our parents, he said calmly. They all looked at each other, and they all agreed. Issei, so how about tomorrow, he said calmly. They all accepted with a smile, as some would like to meet their parents, and their friends even made their lists of who they were going to be with. Issei, the guests are Serena and her parents, Rei and her parents, Ami and her parents, Mina and her parents, Makoto and her parents. Lefei and her sister along with her parents. Jean is invited by Lefei as well as Elaine. Ravel and her parents. Latia and her parents. Molly and their parents. Kaneo and Shinobu along with Kono. Sasha. Elmenhild and Valerie. Gasu and Vala. Haruka, Setsuna, Michiru, Hataru. Luna and Artemis. And the girls. And that's all. Wow, that's a lot of guests, he said surprised. The next day, Issei's house was seen, which is almost a mansion. At first, Faye wanted to refuse since her sister Arturia wanted to tell her parents to help her with the food, which her parents accepted and sent almost 50 maids to make food for guests and clean, and it was like that almost all day until nightfall. People could be seen entering. Mickey, Era, it's been a while since I saw him. Ikuko, she said happily. Ikuko, that's right, friend. It's been a while since I saw him, she said happily while hugging Mickey. Goru, how's work going? Kenji, he said happily. Kenji, Something good, he said happily and gives him a handshake. Era, don't forget me, he said happily. Mickey, oh Mayumi, I never imagined I would see her again. I thought she forgot about me, she said happily. Mayumi, how do you think I'll forget about you, friend? I'm glad you're okay, she said happily. Not only them, the other parents also arrived. The parents who have arrived at the party are the parents of LeFay and Arturia along with Jean, Ravel, Latia, Ami, Mina, Ray, Haruka. While the others only said that he couldn't come for some reason, things that were lies to cover the gaps so that the human parents wouldn't suspect. Fun, happiness and joy was the only thing that was seen at this party. They even lied about the girls being nephews on Michiru and Setsuna's side. Everything was going well, but in the end it was something unexpected. Issei, who was talking to Molly calmly but out of nowhere he quickly gets up. That presence, he said seriously. Molly, what's wrong, Issei-san, she said in doubt, not only her but also the guests and the human parents, while the others already suspected that something bad was going to happen. Issei realizes what is about to happen. Vali Gasu, serious cry. Vala/Gasu, we already know, he said seriously while creating a magic circle to cover the house. Paw. A burst of light shone in the windows as there was an explosion outside. Only a part of the house was destroyed, which can be seen from the outside. Gasu, that's it, he said seriously. Vala, so you want to get involved against us, huh? He said seriously. Outside you could see a few hundred soldiers who had been ordered to attack the members of the Moon Kingdom. Chapter 30. He attacks us during our party and an unexpected revelation. Non-humans become alert, while human parents become scared. Issei, who was the bastard who decided to attack us like that, he said annoyed. Beings like you should not exist, he said seriously. Issei, Serena, I know it's not the time but you have to be serious about this situation, he said seriously. Serena, but Issei, she said with fear. Gasu, I understand how you feel but you should be aware that sooner or later this was going to happen, he said seriously. Vali, if you don't want to do it, don't do it, he said seriously. Hey Issei, leave it to me, Pluto. After all, I had a score to settle with that guy, he said seriously. Gasu, well, we'll take care of the soldiers. Issei will lend me a hand, he said calmly. Issei, I'm sorry but I refuse, he said as if nothing happened. Gasu, hey wait, why are you running away, coward, he said annoyed. Issei, I will take care of the dragon, or do you want to change us? I will face the soldiers and you take care of the evil dragon Azidahaka, he said seriously. Gasu stays silent. Am no better you with the dragon, he said a little nervously. Arturia, hey little black angel, you're not alone, she said with a smile while summoning her sword. Jian, I will deal with those involved, she said seriously while raising her hand and her spear comes out. Sasha, that's right, Issei, guys, don't worry, she said seriously while looking back at Issei. Latia, you are not the only one, she said seriously while Eris saw Ravel, Elmenhild, Valerie, and he was preparing for battle. Ami, calm down, what do we do, she said with fear. Serena, he doesn't give me any other option, we have to help him, she said seriously. Ray, so we will do it, she said seriously. Serena, yes, she said seriously while transforming. Not only Serena but also her guardians with the exception of Saturn, Neptune, Plut, Saturn since they were already in their battle suit, the human parents who realized what their daughters did, some were afraid and others worried. But Serena and Molly's mother, seeing that Issei's parents were calm without worries, which she asked but they replied that they already knew about Issei and Serena but did not know about the others, she also told her that it took her by surprise to see that Molly also entered the supernatural world. And the place is only chaos. Vala, who was fighting with Pluto, a high-level Grim Reaper. Issei was also seen fighting with Azidahaka. Gasu was also seen along with the others, also counting on the warriors of the moon who also joined the battle. Jean along with Sasha protected those involved. The battle lasted almost an hour. They had already defeated almost all the soldiers, Vala killed Pluto and Issei arrives where the others say. Issei, Azidahaka escaped, he said seriously. Goru, Issei, I see you're in trouble, he said calmly as he watched the girls walking away from their parents. Issei, yes, things that she never wanted to happen, he said seriously. Mickey, don't you think I should help her, Issei, she said worriedly. Issei, I think so, mother, he said seriously. Hello, don't you think I should give them a little time to calm down, he said calmly. Kenji, look, I better take it off, we're not in a good mood, he said seriously. Issei, are you thinking of taking it out on her daughter? He said seriously, if that's the case, she should go over me. If it's Serena, I won't hesitate to defend her. He said seriously. Kenji, stop this stupid relationship thing, you better get going, he said annoyed. Issei, don't be an idiot, I'm not doing it because she's my partner, if not, she's the same daughter of the Queen of the Moon, in short, our future Queen of the Moon, he said seriously and annoyed. Shingo, ha ha ha, she's a princess, I don't believe it, besides she must be a fool, he said annoyed. Many did not like that comment. The warriors were willing to defend the honor of their leader, but someone got ahead of them. Shingo, ouch, that hurt, he said annoyed. Issei, you better stop talking like that, she may be a fool but at least she is braver, she risks her life to defend her companions, she risks her life to defend this world, and she even risks her life for all of you so that you are happy, he said seriously, and well, tell me. Will you be able to do something like this, he said seriously while expelling a little of his power. Shingo stares in fear. Mayumi, come on, we have to lower the pressure in the environment, why don't we just let her tell us everything? She said, not very worried. The parents who did not know the existence of supernaturals decided to accept the proposal, and not only are they also surprised to see that they were inside a dimension, since when they left everything seemed to return to normal, but the parents did not. Issei, who asked everyone to gather inside, and inside two separate groups were seen. On one side were the parents who did not know the existence, in a few words, the parents of Rei, Ami, Lita, Minako, Molly. And on the other side are all the supernaturals, and there are also Issei's parents who already knew the secret. It was a long talk they had to tell from the day they started until today, only omitting the death of God and Satan. On the part of their other friends, they also introduced themselves as they should, and their reasons, as well as the parents. The human parents did not know what to do. They had several emotions: annoyance, sadness, worry, and disappointment, as each one thought about what their daughter's future would be like, but it ended in the worst. Issei, I understand that Bibi is upset, but for this I ask you not to look down on him. It's not his fault, she only did it to protect him, that's the only thing I can ask. Accept him as he is now and continue loving him as he did his daughters, he said seriously while he had his eyes closed and bows. I swear that I will protect them and that nothing bad happens to them, he said seriously. Ikuko, it's okay, Issei, there's no need to do this. I understand that you must be worried thinking that we will stop loving her because you are wrong. I don't care if they are reincarnations, those warriors of the past will always continue to be our daughters, she said calmly, making the girls happy. Serena/Ami/Minako/Lisha/Molly. They calmed down more and also become happy to see that their parents agreed with what Serena's mother said. If the atmosphere finally calmed down, everyone acted calm again in the meantime. Serena, Yoag, covers her mouth and runs to the bathroom. Nobody noticed Serena's behavior, only some. With Serena. She is in the bathroom while behind you can see some girls approaching. Sasha, Serena is fine, she said in doubt. Serena, I'm fine, she said with a heavy sigh. Le Fei, sure Serene-sama, he said in doubt. Serena, it just made me feel sick, she said while trying not to vomit again. With Issei. Issei, who is sitting watching two groups. On one side you could see the human parents sitting without making a noise, and on the other side you could see the supernaturals talking about some things. Issei, looks back and sees a magic circle. What's going on, Bova? He said seriously, making the others pay attention. Bova, I'm sorry, Issei-sama, I have a message for you from Odin-sama. Since a moment ago I tried to call you, but for some reason I couldn't. That's why I offered to take that message to you, he said seriously. Issei, and what is the message, he said seriously. Bova, if the message was like that, he said seriously, I never realized at first. I thought we had more time, but until now I realized the seal of Trihexa is about to be destroyed. It is necessary that it comes as soon as possible, he said seriously, and repeating the words that Odin left. Gasu, how impossible, how they accelerated the procedure to destroy the seal of Trihexa, he said seriously. The supernaturals are surprised by what they just heard. Not only them, but also Serena along with Sasha and Faye. Serena, I guess our time is up, she said seriously while her eyes were closed. Mayumi, what's wrong? Is something bad going to happen? She said scared. The atmosphere became very tense after hearing the news. Chapter 31, Preparing for a Battle. A very tense atmosphere is happening right now. Vali, hey Gasu, we better prepare the magic circle to go to Isker, he said seriously. Gasu, yes, he said seriously. Ikuko, what do you mean, your time is up? She said worriedly. Satter, the truth is that we didn't plan that, but we did plan the party. But as you can see, we can't ignore the situations that are happening, he said seriously. Neptune, you see, a long time ago we fought with a group of terrorists, and that group is releasing a beast that is capable of destroying the entire world, she said seriously. Urano, we, along with the other leaders of the Alliance, will participate to stop the release of that beast, she said seriously. Gasu, the magic circle is ready, he said seriously. Moon, she just stayed silent. I'm sorry mother, I have to go, she said sadly while she bows and walks away from her family. Not only Moon but also the other guardians. Mickey, Issei, take care, she said worriedly. Issei, I don't promise you, we won't know if we'll get out alive, he said seriously. After those words the human parents became more scared and tried to talk, but they had already left except for Issei. Issei, Molly, Kaneo and Shinobi will stay since you have no experience in battles, he said seriously. Molly, but Issei, at least let us accompany you, she said worriedly. Issei, understand that you don't, he said seriously. You must know something, you are human and that is your weakness, he said seriously. Molly, she remained silent since she could not contradict Issei. She saw that he was not lying and accepted it. Issei, Luna Artemis entrusted it to you, he said seriously. Issei was the last to leave while Luna gets scared since she will take care of them. Luna, I guess there is no other alternative, she said with a sigh. Human parents, a talking cat said surprised while hugging each other. Artemis, haha, we won't know what to do now, he said bored. With Issei. The chestnut appears in a room, and the only thing he sees is Bova. Bova, Issei-sama, I've been waiting for you, he said seriously. Issei, where are the others, he said seriously. He sees how a shadow passes in a dark part but it still goes there. Bova, Issei-sama, he said in doubt. Issei, he was walking and realizes that he was heading to the backyard of the castle. He does not hesitate, and goes out and meets the person he least wants to never see again. Rias Gremory, he said seriously. Rias, Issei, my Issei, he said while crying but was stopped by the edge of the sword at his throat. Issei, don't come too close to me, he said seriously while pointing with his sword, but there is something he sees and gets upset. Q, what's wrong? Why are you here and why are you tied up like that? He said annoyed seeing his future daughter tied to a chair. Q, Otosan, he said with fear. Rias, wait, what do you mean by that? She said in shock. Akeno, Issei deserves a punishment for being unfaithful, she said annoyed. Issei, Rias, let it go right now, he said annoyed. Bova, Issei-sama is upset, and in a nutshell she is someone important, he said seriously in his mind while he launches himself to attack him. Zenobia, seeing that he was about to receive an attack, he did not hesitate to defend himself but was thrown back strongly. Bova, seeing that no one was next to the girl, he didn't hesitate to go and load her with the whole chair and soon arrived next to Issei. Issei, it's okay, they didn't do anything to you, he said worriedly while cutting the magic ribbon. Rias, Issei, what does that mean? She said seriously. Issei, I'm already fed up with you, he said seriously while attacking with Serena. Minutes before. Serena looks like she is walking with a sad face, but when she doesn't realize it, she ends up crashing and falls to the ground. Moon Aoch, she said in pain. Zeus, MMO, so it's you, princess, he said calmly while giving her his hand to help her up. Moon, I'm sorry, I didn't realize, he said a little sad. Zeus, are you sad about the situation that happened with your parents? He said seriously. Moon, as he said it, with little sadness. Zeus, I am a god, for that reason I did not let Odin go for you, he said seriously. Moon, thanks Zeus-sama, he said sadly. Zeus, where is your boyfriend? He said seriously. Moon, he won't be long in arriving, he said happily. Moon was going to continue talking with Zeus, but he hears an explosion outside. Both of them go straight to that place. Not only were they two there, but the entire alliance, and their warriors of different races. Everyone looked at that place, and saw that it was Issei hugging a girl, and in front of him was Bova, who used her body to protect her master. In front of Bova was Rias, who used her power of destruction. Surzex, what are you doing? Annoyed scream. Moon, Issei is okay, she said worried. Sadder, she was just watching the situation but realizes who is on Issei's arm. Wait, Q, what are you doing here? She said worriedly as she approaches Issei. Q, Okasan, they wanted to do something to me, she said with fear while hugging her mother. Plut, attacking a member of the moon is something serious and a crime, you know, she said seriously. Issei, hey Bova, are you okay? He said seriously. Bova, don't worry about me, worry about your daughter, he said tired. Odin, wait, did I hear wrong? Did you say daughter? He said with fear in his mind while sweating. Lucifer ordered you to control your demons, he said annoyed. Surzex, I'm sorry, Odin-sama won't come back, he said seriously while bowing. Graphia, he said seriously. Graphia, yes, she said seriously. Yasaka, Era Issei-kun, don't waste your time, and you already had a daughter, he said with a smile. All but Yasaka and Odin. What? They shouted in surprise. Surzex, we are dead, we are dead, we are dead, we are dead, he said in his mind nervously and at the same time scared, since he found out that she is the daughter of an important person from the Moon Kingdom. Rias, get out of here, he shouted seriously. Soldiers, take them, lock them up, he said seriously. Soldier, yes, he said seriously. Rias, you can't do this to me, Anasama, she said worried. Ajuka, Rias, hear the mouse, Lucifer orders you, he said seriously. Surzex, to all the members of the Lunar Kingdom, I apologize for Rias' behavior, he said seriously while bowing to the ground. Moon, get up, it's not the time to do that, we have to prepare to stop the beast, she said seriously. Surzex, yes, he said seriously as he stands up. Issei, hey Plut, he said seriously. Plut, tell me, she said seriously. Issei, we must return those girls to their time, he said seriously. The girls, wait, she said scared. Issei, no need to wait, we must return at our own time, right now it is no longer a time when we can be relaxed, do you understand, he said seriously. The girls, they remained silent since they knew who Issei was in the future. Plut, what does Princess say? She said seriously while looking at the girl. Moon, even though it hurts me, you're right. It's no longer the time when we can be calm, she said seriously. Plut, who accepted the order, decided to invoke the door of time. Everyone was surprised and confused until Odin asked him. Odin, who are they? He said in doubt. Plut, well, I've tried to hide it from them, but as you can see, they've already seen it, so there's no need to hide it. She said seriously, they're from the future. She said seriously. Everyone was surprised by what Plut said. Moon, girls, I think it's time to go back to your time, he said a little sadly. The girls, who had to reluctantly accept and saw each other the last time and walked forward to enter the door. Everyone entered except Chibi Moon as she sees her father from the past again and says something that both were surprised. Chibi Moon, I am not the heir of the moon, I have an older sister who is the heir of the moon, she said happily and runs back to the door and closes it to disappear. Issei, what does that mean? He said in doubt. Moon blushes as she knows what Chibi means. Issei, well, for now I don't know, he said as if nothing happened. Yasaka, you're an idiot, don't you feel it even though you're close, she said annoyed in her mind. Derek, you are such a stupid and idiotic bastard, he said seriously in his mind while he puts his hand on his face. Carmelia, that is a matter for the Moon Kingdom. I do not wish to know what is happening, she said calmly. Michael, we don't want to weaken our friendship with our ally, he said calmly. Azazel, I see many surprising things that are going to happen in the future, ha 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 ha, he said as if nothing. Momo, every time we see Issei-kun, many things come out that we don't know about, she said, a little confused. Ruruko, Issei-senpai and the others are like a surprise box, she said happily. Moon, well, wouldn't it be better to plan our strategy to stop the beast, he said seriously. Everyone accepted Moon's proposal and entered the meeting room while before entering, Issei spoke to Surzex. Issei, I want to talk to Rias Gremory, he said seriously. Surzex, he stares while a doubt enters him. Tell me Issei-kun, can I ask you something clearly if it's not too much trouble, he said seriously. Issei, tell me, he said in doubt and seriously while crossing his arms. Surzex, that girl who left last means that you and she are, he said in doubt. Issei, you say that in the future I will become your princess's partner, he said seriously. Surzex just stays silent and shakes his head saying yes. Issei, probably yes, it would just be a long road, he said seriously. Surzex, I see again, I apologize for what I did. I laughed at your daughter, he said seriously. Issei, you don't have to apologize, well, let me talk to her, he said seriously. Surzex, your soldier, accompany Issei Dano to see Rias Gremory, he said seriously. Soldier, yes sir Issei-sama, come with me, he said seriously. After Issei followed the soldier to arrive at the place where Rias and her entourage are. It only took a few minutes for Issei to arrive at that place in a room. Upon entering, Venelana was seen holding Rias' hand, asking for an explanation of the situation she got into. Venelana, tell me, laugh, why do you do that? She said seriously and upset. You're watching how your brother struggled to have an alliance so as not to have a problem, and you're destroying it, she said upset. Zeoticus, Rias must understand that he no longer wants anything to do with you, he said seriously. Rias, you're wrong, I know he still loves me because, she said seriously but didn't finish speaking. Her mother was the one who slapped her. Venelana, you must understand once and for all, she said annoyed. Zeoticus, looks at the entrance and sees Issei standing with a serious look. Issei donated as the patriarch of the Gremory clan and apologized for the situation that Rias got into, he said seriously while leaning forward. Issei, it doesn't matter, anyway. That's already happened, so get up, he said seriously. I came to talk to Rias and her entourage, he said seriously. Venelana, if that's the case, we'll leave, she said seriously. Issei, no, you should also stay since you also want to talk, he said seriously. Zeoticus, if that's so, it's fine, but don't you think I should go to your place? He said seriously while looking at the soldier. Soldier understands what he said and then leaves without saying anything. Issei, I don't know where to start, but I think I'll start from the beginning. Rias, from that day I met you for the first time, you were very arrogant and proud since you only wanted power and to be recognized, and even though as time went by you hadn't changed your way of behaving. You said that you loved me, but you didn't think about my trauma that until now I was able to free myself from the moment I recovered my memory of my previous life, he said seriously while looking at Rias crying. Akeno, you were a great friend. But just like Rias, you followed her no matter what she did. But as her queen you should have thought about what would be right and what would be wrong. But in the end you ended up the same as Rias, he said seriously while looking at Akeno, who was trying to look the other way so as not to see her cry. Asia, you are a rabbit that is easy to be caught. You always depend on someone else to take care of things. You are really so stupid that you were easily fooled by a demon, and then you are fooled again. Don't you think that you should grow up and see that the world has always been cruel since the beginning of life? He said seriously. Kaneko, you are a scaredy cat just because you are afraid of that power. Life will always have pain and fear. You must overcome this mentality and accept who you are. Do not say that you do not want to use that power because I was the one who helped you awaken it. You are not wrong. That was your destiny, to have that power and to have to accept it. He said seriously. Razwisi, you are a very arrogant girl. You should mature, otherwise you won't be able to have someone who loves you and stops being a 100 yen lover, he said seriously. Kiba, you are a worse friend. You were always a bad friend. You have forgotten all the sacrifices you made. You have forgotten my support. You have forgotten the people who sacrificed their lives to give you a chance to live. I think you were not only a bad friend to me, I think it was from the beginning, the day you met your comrades in that church, he said seriously while watching how he held back his tears. Zenobia, you are just as climbing. No one will give you a strong son. Besides, you should think more about things, brain and muscles, he said seriously. Irena, you were the worst childhood friend I ever had. I never imagined someone like you betraying me like that. Well, there's nothing to do. After all, you were my third childhood friend, he said seriously. The entire Gremry group has betrayed the person who helped them the most to move forward, he said seriously while watching them cry. The Gremry group was crying since what Issei said is true. Issei, Venelon Asiaticus, to be honest, thanks for thinking of me as a son, but unfortunately that will not happen. Seeing it like this, I imagine that I should start to educate Milik as well. I can't imagine seeing Milikas behaving the same as Rias. Just let me tell you that if one day I see Milikas behaving like Rias, I will only say you have disappointed me. I imagine that Surzex and Greyfield would want to raise him well, he said seriously while looking at those mentioned. That would be all. I leave Rias and the others should change and accept reality, he said seriously while walking towards the entrance. I will see you on the battlefield. I hope you have already reacted well, he said, without turning around and leaving the room. The room was left with a tense atmosphere while Issei walked while trying to breathe. Drake, I see that you finally got a big weight off your back, he said seriously. Issei, you don't know how nervous I made you, but I already feel lighter than before, he said calmly. Issei, who already feels relieved his soul, and also walks towards the courtyard and sees the leaders along with his friends. Odin, it's time to go and finish all this once and for all, he said seriously. Yasaka, and regain peace, he said happily. We are ready too, she said seriously. Issei looks back and sees Rias and her entourage along with her parents already prepared for battle. Yes, a battle to win and regain peace, he said seriously while looking at the sky. Chapter 32, The War. A very sunny and abandoned area was seen. There was a group of people in that place. They were leaders of the terrorists. Ryzavin, ha 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 ha, very soon he will be free again, he said happily while looking at the sleeping beast. Queen Beryl, I see that the supposed alliance of factions hid very well like damn rats, she said seriously while looking at an empty lot. Euclid, it's very strange to see you here, God Hades, he said seriously. Hades, I have a pending matter to do, he said seriously. This time I will not leave Hayate Issei alive, he said seriously. Endymion, it seems someone is coming, he said seriously, making everyone look. If you saw a shadow walking through the dust until you could see the whole body. Issei, hey, what's up, you bucking little princess, do you have a grudge against me? He said seriously with a smile while looking at the Prince of the Earth. Endymion, damn, he said annoyed as he lunges. Issei stops the attack with Ascalon, not so fast stupid, he said annoyed while punching him. Endymion, damn, he said seriously. Issei, I didn't come alone, he said seriously and looks back where a large army is seen formed. The terrorist leaders realized that their enemies were seen, a large soldier of biblical factions, the angels, who were flying in the air along with the fallen angels and demons. On the ground were seen the factions of vampires, yokai, Usker, Olympic and dragons. Rise of him. TKS, damn it, don't make fun of us, he said seriously. Attack, he shouted angrily as he watched his large army fly away. Zeus, there are many renegades of each race, he said seriously. Odin, your orders, princess, he said seriously. Moon, you should know well that our objective is to stop the resurrection of the beast, screamed seriously while pointing at the beast. Soldier. He just remained silent, and a soldier is seen running away, and everyone looks at each other and decides to follow. AARG. He shouted while following the brave soldier who took the first step. The sky lit up as explosions were made on each side. Everyone fought very seriously. No one gave in and retreated. Urano. Haha, this is something like that reminds me of the day the kingdom fell, he said with a smile while attacking. Neptune. That's right, but you must know something. We have orders for the princess not to die, she said seriously while standing on her friend's back. Urano. Yes, he said with a smile of amusement. With Odin. The old bearded man was seen fighting while accompanying the princess of the moon. Odin, you must not overexert yourself, he said seriously. Moon, I'm fine, our duty is to protect and support our warriors, she said seriously while attacking. Well, at least he didn't attack me in my belly, she said in her mind with fear and frightened. With Hades. God, Hades is fighting with the soldiers of great power, but he only attacked with boredom. Hades, it's Issei, he said seriously while attacking and advancing, but something stops him. Pandora, what are you doing? He said seriously. Pandora, I saw that you were going for Issei and I'm here to stop you, she said seriously. Hades, are you planning to go against your leader? He said seriously while attacking with his spear. Pandora tries to defend with her spear, but she knows she is no match for a god, but she still decides to protect Issei's sword and counterattack. Hades, you don't know how to give up, he said annoyed when he saw that he received an attack. Pandora, stop right now, he said seriously while attacking with his spear, causing Pandora to fall brutally to the ground. Pandora, groans in pain as he is brutally sent to the ground. Hades, for your betrayal you must die, he said seriously while pointing the spear at Pandora's neck. Not so fast, Hades, she said seriously while putting the spear on Hades' neck. Hades, you don't know how upset it is to hear your voice, Goddess Athena, he said seriously while looking back. Pandora, what are you doing here? She said seriously while trying to get up but was supported. You are a fool, Pandora, he said with a smile. Pandora, nix, she said surprised. Hades, you too, nix, he said seriously, because you want to protect that individual so much, he said seriously. The three girls, they look at each other and smile. Because we love Issei, she said in their minds with a smile. Hades, he didn't understand what was happening, but he prepares for battle. The three girls and Hades prepare for a battle. It only takes a few seconds for both to start attacking each other. With Issei. The brown-haired boy was seen fighting with the Prince of the Earth along with his warriors. Issei stops the sword attack with Ascalon. You're still upset about what happened that day, he said seriously with a smile. Endymion, shut up, you were the one who took everything from me from the day you cursed the town until now, he said angrily. Issei, first of all, what the village deserved for having gotten in my way, and the other is that day I met the princess. You yourself lost everything just by deceiving the princess, he said seriously. Endymion, I remember your queen punished you for breaking the rule, which was the punishment not to be reincarnated with the princess. Tell me who is the fool who reincarnated you, he said with a smile. Issei. He gets upset by what he said and pushes Endymion, making him fall, but he doesn't waste time as he was attacked by Endymion's warriors. I'm fed up with you guys, he said seriously. With Vali. A guy in white armor and a demon. Vali, this time he won't escape again, he said annoyed. Rise of him, annoyed cry. Rise of him, Jujujujujajuja, come on Vali, come play with your grandpa, he said with a smile. With Betrayal. The fallen angel was throwing lightning bolts into the sky. Betrayal, damn, those Security replicas are the most problematic. Akeno, if we put our power together, do you think we can finish him? She said seriously. Wouldn't you mind if we joined together? She said calmly. Betrayal, you are, he said seriously. Jupiter, that's right, maybe between four we can finish it, she said seriously. Betrayal, well, let's go, We won't waste any more time, he said seriously while his hands began to sprout rays. Akeno, yes, let's go, she said seriously while raising her hand and a lightning bolt falls. Jupiter, Ja, the attack is prepared. Mars, good going, she said seriously while creating a fire arrow. The four attacked at the same time, eliminating only a quarter of the fake armor. Akeno, just a little, she said tiredly. Betrayal, well, it's better to eliminate only a quarter than to eliminate only one, he said seriously. Jupiter, wow, Issei's armor is stronger, she said surprised. Venelana, she's just watching the battle. Surzex, what's wrong mother, he said seriously while attacking. Venelana, I don't know why but this war is nothing compared to before. I feel that something more than a war will happen, she said seriously. Surzex, mother, he said seriously. The Alliance is still fighting bravely to stop the resurrection of the apocalyptic beast. Graphia, who is fighting with her brother. Euclid, what's wrong little sister? Before I was the coldest and most powerful and now I see you're softer, showing that you have no desire to kill, he said annoyed. Graphia, okay, it was a long time ago, but tell me why you decided to join them again, she said sadly. Euclid, the world is too cruel. Graphia, after being locked in that mansion, does not know what is beyond the supernatural world, he said seriously, and that rise of him does not know, or else he will go to that place and look for a way to obtain that power, he said seriously. Graphis, who else knows about this investigation, she said seriously. Elquid, you're wrong. I didn't investigate it. It was Loki who discovered that power, he said seriously. Graphia, I see, I hope that information doesn't spread, she said seriously. So we gather our battle, she said seriously while creating an ice sword and attacks him. Euclid, unfortunately I say the same thing, but I only remember a phrase that Loki managed to translate that said, sooner or later he will wake up from his long sleep and his dominion will begin. That was what he said seriously. Elsewhere, the Citri group was seen with the help of two female warriors. Mercury, it's not over yet Venus, buy me time, I'll find a way to stop those armors, she said seriously while taking out her mini laptop. Venus, don't worry, I'll get it, she said seriously while attacking. Sona, if we don't find a way to stop that fake armor, we'll end up in trouble, she said seriously. Mercy, I found it, he said happily, but then the smile didn't last because he was attacked and accidentally dropped his mini computer, and it broke. Know the information, she screamed desperately. Enemy, ARDIE, he screamed with the intention of killing Mercury, but he couldn't complete his attack. Juvia, don't let your guard down, she said seriously while controlling a large sphere of water where several drowning enemies were. With Moon, the princess who is fighting hard with her friends Satyr and Plut along with some leaders since they had to deal with the hardest ones. They were cloned evil middle-class dragons. Moon, Gia, attacks and destroys the dragon's body, Ja, panting with exhaustion while getting upset about something. I never imagined that my state of pregnancy would be more exhausting since most of my energy goes to my belly, he said annoyed and tired kneeling while touching his belly. Odin, princess, are you okay? They managed to give you, he said seriously and at the same time worried. Moon, I'm sorry if I'm fine, he said with a forced smile. King of Turf, the enemy forces are not going down, we have to find a way to attack them, he said seriously. Michael, we just have to increase our power more, he said, not very worried. Azazel, but if we do it we will only harm our soldier, he said seriously. With Rias. Rias along with her nobility is fighting hard since there was only that group. Rias, I would like to be able to fix that mistake, if I'm honest with you. Until now I realized what Issei was doing. I put the life of one of your daughters in danger, she said sadly in her mind while attacking. Memory of Rias. Rias looks sad and in front of her is her nobility. Akeno, can you repeat what you said? She said in shock. Rias, I finally give up because Issei is already in her life. We can't interfere in Issei's life again, she said sadly. Zenobia, so what do you want us to do? Just leave it as if nothing happened, she said seriously. Rias, you know, in order to remedy my mistake and my stupidity, I have decided to give my life to protect the Princess of the Moon, she said seriously. Zenobia, you're crazy, why would you do that? Annoyed scream. Rias, because we can't do anything anymore. We can't change the past, life will always move forward. That's why I humbly ask you, would you be willing to accompany me to that goal? She said seriously while leaning forward. Akeno, maybe you're right, Rias, but you should know that we will always follow you even if death separates us, she said calmly. Rias, she gets up and sees how her peerage is willing to help her again. I think I don't deserve it, she said in her mind while crying. End of memory. Things were going more or less on the ground were filled with bodies that disappear little by little, while the other soldiers who are still standing continue fighting. It was seen how a soldier helps his partner to eliminate an enemy. A soldier was seen who throws himself and hugs his enemy and uses his maximum power, making him explode. A soldier was seen healing a wounded soldier while receiving a spear attack from behind, but that did not stop him, and he continued to heal the wounded and the enemy that the spear pierced from behind. The medical soldier had his head cut off. And the other soldier was seen retreating with his wounded friend but could not continue as he was crushed by a stomp made by a dragon. The battle lasted until he felt the barrier break again, and the beast let out a great roar. If the apocalyptic beast had awakened again. Chapter 33, The War Part 2. Hraagh. A roar sounded, causing the soldiers from different sides to stop as they watched the beast roar, and then shift its gaze towards the soldiers. Issei, shit, there's no time, he said, annoyed. In the human world. The parents were taken to a place where they were guided by Luna and Artemis in the place where the games were. At first, the parents were in doubt, but then they discovered a secret hiding place where their daughters were hiding. They entered, and then Luna and Artemis turned on a screen to see what was happening in the underworld. At first, the parents panicked when they saw what was happening, but what scared them the most was the moment when the beast was resurrected. Ikuko, what is that beast? She said, worried and at the same time scared. Artemis, it can't be that they managed to resurrect the apocalyptic beast, he said, surprised. Luna, do they think they can stop it again? She said nervously. Papa of my friend, apocalyptic beast, that means that, he said, scared. Goro, Issei once told me that he was known as the beast of apocalyptic, or a much better name that is understood as the dragon god of apocalyptic, or the dragon god of the end of the world, he said nervously. After that discussion, the parents along with the girls who did not go to battle now understand why Issei refused to let them go. The battlefield. Issei, annoyed, used more strength with the help of Drake killing and Dimon along with his warriors, while Moon fought but was attacked by Queen Beryl. Queen Beryl, I can finally kill you and take the silver crystal, she said with a smile. Moon, no matter how many times I tell you, you won't succeed, said Sriya. Queen Beryl gets upset while attacking. Haha, I imagine you must feel more betrayed. Isn't that right, girl? She said with a smile. Moon, what does it mean? What does it mean? She said seriously while attacking. Queen Beryl, your fiancé, there are things that he hid, things that even someone like me knows. Why did that happen? The destruction of the Moon Kingdom, she said seriously. Moon, she said surprised. Queen Beryl, the reason the Moon Kingdom was attacked is because your fiancé left the protection of the kingdom. It was an opportunity for me to enter with the others. Ha! You're even a stupid girl. Don't you remember? Even Endymion tried to kill you, she said with a smile. Moon, it's not true, that's a lie, she said surprised while grabbing her head. Queen Beryl, I even know why the Queen of the Moon banished your fiancé for breaking many rules. She even gave him a punishment, which is not to be reincarnated with you warriors, she said with a serious smile. Moon, what rule does he mean he broke? He said in doubt. Rina Beryl, girl, have you ever thought about how darkness, evil, and destruction were born? She said seriously. Moon, he remains in doubt since he knew what Queen Beryl was saying about how the darkness was born was true. He never wondered how it started. Don't let yourself be fooled, princess, serious scream. Moon, Helios, what is happening? Happening in the mind. Pegasus, don't be fooled. Everything he's saying is a lie. He's doing it so you'll let your guard down. Please open your eyes and see the truth, he said calmly. Moon, thank you Helios, he said with a smile. Queen Beryl, I don't care what Issei did, but I won't allow them to keep make fun of my fiancé. I know he did it with an intention. I don't care what punishment Issei had to receive, but even if I love him and I will never lose him again, she screamed seriously as her power increases a little. The soldiers who were injured suddenly stop feeling pain and see their wounds healed by the light that the princess used. Even the leaders are surprised to feel the power of the moon as it heals their wounds. With Issei, Chestnut along with Gasu and Tannen managed to attract Triaxa so that he would not attack the soldiers. Issei, that power, huh? You finally decided to face your fears, princess. Show him the power of the moon, he said with a smile. Drake, seriously, females are scarier than us when we face death, he said neutrally and at the same time with a little nervousness. With Moon, the girl with her new outfit decides to attack Queen Beryl. Queen, TKS damn you, she said seriously while attacking. Moon uses one of his powers to put an end to Queen Beryl, but for some reason Beryl dodges it. Queen Beryl, damn you, she said annoyed. In the human world, parents still cannot shake off the feeling of worry and at the same time fear for their daughter's safety. In the war, the dragon god Triaxa is seen being attacked by different high-powered races, while Princess Serena is fighting hard against Queen Beryl, but for a second Triaxa made a bad move and expels her power, creating a shock wave causing everything within her reach to be eliminated. Queen Beryl, damn you, that stupid beast, she said seriously but then feels someone pointing at her. Moon, it's time to stop this, she said seriously. Queen Berry, that never, she said seriously while attacking him. Moon, you leave me no other option. I wanted him to start over on a new path, but seeing it like this, he doesn't give me any other option than this, she said seriously while taking out her crystal and putting it together with her spear, which creates an attack towards Beryl, who ends up being destroyed little by little. Queen Beryl, no, again I am always defeated by her, but I see that you were right, Neo Serenity, this girl is the one who is going to make the strongest queen, she said with a calm look while her body slowly disappears. Moon, I just hope that your soul can finally rest, if that is possible. I hope you could be reincarnated in another life and have a better life that you wanted so much, he said sadly while looking at the small particles of light that was the soul of Queen Beryl. Moon, who saw that little light but did not realize the danger that was approaching the place where he was, lights up and looks at that place, and sees that it was a ball of fire. Pam. The warriors, no princess, worried cry. Vala, damn, I didn't get there on time, he said annoyed. Gasu, damn you, he said seriously. Odin, he was just sweating while praying to luck that she was okay. The brown-haired boy who saw that explosion did not hesitate to worry until someone had to shout it out. Drake, Issei, be careful behind you, he shouted seriously knowing that his friend was careless. Issei. He understood what his friend said and looked back, but even if it was too late to react, he was being crushed by the hand. With Moon, the girl who was with her eyes closed waiting for her end, but then opens her eyes and sees that she was protected by someone she never imagined. Moon, you guys, why? She said surprised. Rias, I know I did wrong to Issei, but even so it's time for me to give up for him, even if I would like to fix that mistake I made, she said with a smile while blood falls from her forehead and ears because of the loud noise of the explosion, and not only her was there but also her friend Akeno along with Asia, Kaneko, Razwisi, and Irina Zinovia. She was not there because she does not want to accept the defeat of losing Issei forever. Moon, Issei, be careful, she screamed worriedly, making Rias and her friends look at that place and see Issei being crushed by Triax's hand. Everyone was shocked, and some thought that he had just died. Some soldiers who were still alive saw that the person they trusted the most was being crushed under Triax's hand. With Issei, the chestnut-haired boy was seen fainting under the rubble while in his mind he was slowly fading away. Issei, what is that? I'm scared, I don't feel anything, I just feel like I'm being sunk to the depths of the ocean. Issei. Issei, who is speaking to me? He said calmly as he watched a small light approach. Issei, my child, wake up. Issei, who is that woman? Who is that woman? I can't figure out who that woman is, he said in doubt. Young Issei, I know you are strong, but it is too soon for you to give up. Issei, I feel like I recognize that voice somewhere, he said in doubt. Issei, I know that you and I are on a different level, but that doesn't matter to me. You know why I love you more than anyone. Issei, that voice is undoubtedly the voice of a princess. How I would like to tell you how much I love you, he said sadly while seeing his memory with the princess. It was already very clear. Issei, you don't have to punish yourself anymore. Issei, I know you sound familiar. It's you, Queen Serenity, he said calmly as he sees his image of the queen slowly becoming clearer. Live with pride and hold your head high. No matter how broken you may feel because of your weakness and fears, just let your heart burn. Be brave and continue on your way. Even if you stop and cower, time will not stop for you or share your pain. Issei, ha ha ha, typical of you, fire boy, he said happily. Issei wakes up. Issei, he sees all his friends. He saw the warriors and the princesses together with Luna and Artemis. He also saw his companions of different races, demons, fallen angels, vampires, humans, and even his human parents. I know I can't give up, he said seriously as he begins to swim so he can get out. He swims towards the light, but every time he gets closer the light blinds him until Issei, he wakes up suddenly and sees that his body is almost covered with rubble. Drake, Issei, can you hear me? He said seriously and worried. Issei, Drake, what happened? He said in doubt. Drake, what the happening is, you idiot, serious and annoyed scream. Issei, okay, sorry, he said neutral. Well, it's time to act serious, he said seriously as he gets up and takes out his wings, which flies up and sees that there was the moon, which reaches the sky and raises his hand. Mother Moon, I know that before I did not value life, but please I ask you for a chance to be by the princess's side, he said seriously. And sees how the moon begins to shine, and next to the moon a shining star appears. Issei was covered by a very strange aura. Since Issei did not recognize that aura that is covering the body, it is as if that aura begs the moon to help the brown-haired boy. I do not recognize that aura from whom it will be. Also, I feel like that aura is begging Mother Moon to help me, he said surprised, but then he sees the moon who also covers his body, which makes his clothing change. His silver suit along with a cape. Inside this cape a sword appears, while on his forehead a mark of a white star appears. Drake, he is very surprised by what just happened. Minutes before Issei. Moment of S.Moon. S.Moon, who was kneeling watching Issei being crushed by Traitor, did not realize that another attack was coming towards her, but was protected by Rias and her peerage, but this time he was not lucky, and the attack reached him, leaving serious injuries. S.Moon, stop doing that, she said worried. Curse Eternal Sailor Moon. Transformation. Her body shines, which her suit changes, and in her hand a staff comes out, which she raises and shines, making her and her fellow nobility laugh, and is healed. And not only that, the sky shined, which an image of a moon appears. The moon begins to shine brighter. Rias, seeing that the girl who previously tried to kill her has saved her from death, she begins to cry, not only her but also her nobility. Traitor is surprised as he feels a sensation that he had heard somewhere, which he manages to remember, but that surprises him more. Traitor, he is surprised but then changes his gaze towards the girl while he remembers something. Thousands of years ago. A tired person was seen, while in front was Traitor, who was with a smile. The day will come when you will be freed twice. But in the second release there will be a person who will make the sky shine brightly. It is that person who will seal you and send you to oblivion forever, and no one will remember you, he said tiredly. Current years. Traitor, who is upset but hears how the rubble rises, which looks back and sees the chestnut flying towards the moon. With Chow Chow. The black-haired man who was fighting with the demons but stops when he sees a strong light in the sky, which he sees in a few seconds. He feels that the sacred spear is calling him. Chow Chow, it's very strange that he starts talking to me, he said seriously. I see why he wants me to do that, he said seriously as he raises his spear and it begins to shine. As always, you were chosen by him. You are very lucky, Hayate Issei, he said seriously. With Sailor Moon. She had a very serious look looking at Traixa, but then she sees her other warriors arrive along with Vala and Gasu. Warriors, princesses are fine, she said worried. Issei, he is coming down from the sky, but when he touches the ground something strange happens. Kiba, who was helping to lift his master, but out of nowhere he feels his sword start to sound as if it were telling him to be careful with it. That also happened to Zenobia. She was in Asia and Irina Durandal. She became hard and heavy while vibrating, causing Zenobia to be unable to lift. With the Pendragon family. The sisters were seen watching what just happened. Lefei, who was smiling, knowing that her fiancé was fine. Jean, Arturia, what's happening? She said worried. Arturia, for some reason I feel the call of Excalibur, she said seriously. Arthur, you're right, Excalibur won't stop vibrating, he said seriously. With S.Moon. Everyone was seen gathered while Issei approached the princess and stood beside her. Issei, well princess, what is your order? He said seriously. Chapter 34, The War Final Part. All the existences are surprised by what just happened. Odin is the first to calm down, knowing that everyone is fine. The biblical alliances are surprised by what happened. They had thought that Issei died, but he is at the side of the princess. Not only them, but all their warriors along with Vala and Gasu. With S.Moon. The blonde, who is with a serious look, looked at Traixa. Issei, okay princess, what's the plan? He said with a smile. S.Moon, let's find a way to seal it, she said seriously. Traixa, do you think you're going to make it? Serious scream while spitting flames. Issei, he stands in front of S. Moon and counterattacks Suisei, Star Comet, he screams while a ball of white energy comes out of his palm, causing Trixa's fire to disappear. Traixa, he is surprised to see how his fire disappears, but he does not react to the attack which he ends up receiving in the face. Gur, he roars in pain and falls. The leaders are surprised because they were able to knock Traixa down with a blow. Traixa, you think you're so superior, you insect, he said annoyed. S.Moon, Traixa, you have already caused terror to this world because you want to sink it further into fear, she said seriously. Traixa, because I am apocalyptic, my power is to bring fear and destruction to a different world, he said seriously while attacking. The warriors retreat from that place to avoid receiving the attack while Issei is in the sky with the princess carrying him in his arm. Issei, princess, I'll distract him and you attack him, he said seriously. S.Satyr, leave it to me, she said seriously. Issei, Satyr, you have changed, he said surprised since Satyr was a child but now she is a teenager like her friends. S.Satyr, please agree to the battle. Issei, well let's do it, she said seriously while attacking with a blade thrown from her energy towards Trixa's face, which makes her close her eyes for a few moments. Issei, okay, my turn. Ascalon, he said seriously while taking out Ascalon. Let's go Boots, he shouted seriously while using Drake's ability to increase Ascalon's power. Drake, come on mate, show him what a celestial dragon is capable of doing, he said seriously. Issei, good, he said with a smile which manages to cut Trixa's neck, causing an open wound to appear, but he realizes that the wound is starting to close. Shit, he said annoyed. S.Mars, I will not allow it, she said seriously while throwing a fire arrow towards the wound that is noticeably getting bigger. S.Jupiter, okay girls, we have to attack, she said seriously. Warriors, good, she said seriously, making each one launch their attack. Everyone saw the attacks that the Moon Kingdom launched, but they didn't just stand there watching. Zeus decided to unite, and the others, seeing Zeus uniting, didn't hesitate to join. The sky shone in different colors from the magic they cast. The entire attack focused on the wound. S.Moon, seeing the opportunity that his friends gave him, he did not hesitate to attack with his best technique. Traixa, seeing the attack coming towards his wound, he doesn't hesitate to try to dodge. Issei, I won't let him do it, he said seriously as he takes out the second sword he has on his back, and the sword begins to shine, causing Traixa to be wrapped around the silver chain, leaving him immobile. Triaxa, Guar, roars in pain knowing that the attack has arrived. His wound has arrived. Ha 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 ha, that's incredible. I never imagined that mortal beings, semi-mortals and pathetic gods would be able to make a simple wound. A simple wound, damn you. I don't know whether to laugh or be upset, scream of joy, but this game is over, he said seriously while increasing his power. The races of different factions feel fear knowing that the dragon god increased his power, but there is something that they never imagined is seeing in his human form. Triaxa, it's time to play groups of weaklings and hopeless, he said seriously, and with a speed he quickly arrives where Issei is. Issei, seeing what is about to happen, he puts his two swords together to make a protection but, he groaned in pain as his defense failed and he was sent flying into the rubble. Triaxa, what's wrong? Are you scared? He said seriously with a smile. Zeus, Aoerg, he shouts seriously while creating his lightning axe with the intention of attacking him from behind and he fails. Triaxa, that's all you can do, he said seriously. Azazel, Michael, come on, serious scream. Michael, yes, let's do it, he said seriously. Both angels create their most powerful spear to attack Triaxa. Triaxa, pwaff, spits out a little blood as the spear hit his abdomen. This isn't over yet, Excalibur, she said seriously. Triaxa, seeing the attack, he doesn't hesitate to cover himself, but he was pushed by the attack. Damn humans, huh? He said, annoyed at first, but then his face changes to surprised. In the sky you see various types of magic that intend to attack Triaxa. Le Fay, please receive it well, she said seriously while she had her wand pointing to the sky and then lowers it as if she was pointing at Triaxa. The magic that I create goes straight to him. Triaxa, a simple attack won't do anything to me, he said annoyed while a fireball hits him, but there is something he never imagined. Le Fay's attack was covered with magic to harm the dragons. Damn you, he said seriously while receiving the attack. Surzex, take advantage of this, he said seriously. He shouts while launching his power of destruction. Ajuka, of course, he said seriously and creates a magic circle in the shape of an algebra and launches Surzex's power of destruction, making it bigger, heavier and more powerful. Triaxa sees the attack of two great demons and stops it with his hand. Ha 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 ha, they are worthy of being called super demons, he said with a smile. Vali, do it Albion, he said seriously while pointing his palm towards Triaxa. Albion, dividing, he said seriously. Triaxa feels like his resistance went down a little, which its consequences was that his hand was burned by the power of destruction. TKS gets more upset while you send an attack to another place which falls in a place where there are wounded soldiers and at the same time attending to them. In the recovery area, you can see all the soldiers with their faces full of fear. Medical soldier, ha ha ha, so that's our end, he said while crying, watching how the ball of destruction fell on top of them, causing destruction on a large scale. On the battlefield, Azazel, TKS, damn you Barakil, take care of the soldiers, it's useless for them to be here, he said annoyed. Barakil, at your command, he said seriously. Odin, TKS, let's go, he said seriously as he points with his spear and throws it. Triaxa, noticing the spear, she dodges it easily. Gasu makes a magic stance to attack him. Purazin Furoser Isotatan, Ice Titan's frozen prison, he said seriously while freezing Triaxa's legs. Issei, Drake increases power, he said seriously while he is in the sky pointing at Triaxa. Drake, well, he said seriously, boots 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 boots, he gradually increased his power. Issei, what do you think? I see that you are no longer using the armor. Only the boosted gear. Only your natural power like the warrior of the stars, he said seriously in his mind. Issei, Hoshi and Oame, starry rain, he said seriously while a magic circle with the symbol of the moon appears in his hand, which produces several star fragments, falling towards his target. Note, something like that. Triaxa, they are alone, such a pathetic attack, he only limited himself seeing how I fell the attack, receiving it completely. Issei, who falls to the ground next to Sailor Moon. Moon takes the opportunity and attacks Triaxa. Triaxa, that's it everyone, he said seriously, making everyone look in fear. Well, it's time to get serious, he said seriously as he crouches down and begins to gather his energy. Mars, maybe he was just playing with us, he said with fear while sweating. Mercury, guys, there's trouble. Triaxa seems to be gathering all of her power to make a mega explosion. We must retreat, he said seriously while calculating the situation with his mini computer. Uranus, how big, he said it would be. Mercury, enough to fly on a large scale, it would even reach us if we escaped, she said seriously. Urano, damn, she said seriously. Mercury, there's no time left, it's going to explode, he said seriously watching as his countdown goes to 0. Triaxa, GAAR, stretches his arms while creating an explosion blowing up everything in his path. The members fighting against Triaxa had no choice but to defend themselves, but even with that they were not able to do so, and they ended up receiving the attack. Chow chow, curse, he said seriously while blocking the attack, but then he sees how the sacred spear begins to emanate golden energy covering Chow Chow's body. The mountainous terrain has become completely flat land, a place where there are no plants, water or even animals living in the underworld. Chow chow, damn, he said in pain as he stood up. Jean Heroine, what happened, she said in pain. Gor, tell me Chow chow what just happened, he said seriously and hurt. Chow chow, it seems that gods will protected us from this attack by Triaxa, he said in pain. Heracles, damn you, at least you would have protected us from the blows of the stones, he said in pain with his head swollen, a sign that he received from a stone in the head. Jean Heroine, don't be an idiot, at least you saved us from certain death, she said annoyed. Elsewhere. The same thing happened with the members of the fallen angel and demon factions. Everyone was confused until Michael, that was our father's will, he protected us from death, he said confused. Gabriel, Michael will not be the miracles of the Holy Spear, he said in doubt and with pain. Michael, you're right, he said confused. Elsewhere. The warriors were seen along with the gods Asgar, Olympian, dragons and members of Vala. Arturia, as expected, Jean, you are the most protective, she said happily and in pain. Jean, you're wrong, my barrier was broken, but when I created the barrier again, I felt that someone strengthened it more so that it wouldn't be destroyed again. But who could it be? She said seriously. Issei, it is the will of that old man, ha ha ha, there is no doubt he was present, and with his power he protected everyone, preventing us from receiving certain death, he said seriously and with pain in his abdomen. Triaxa, oh wow, so that busybody got in my way again, he said seriously. But that won't happen again, he said seriously as he lunges towards Zeus. Zeus, seeing him coming towards him, he prepares to receive the counterattack, but then he is surprised it was Hades who stopped Triaxa's attack. Hades, what are you waiting for? He attacks, he said seriously, holding off the blow with his spear. Zeus, get serious as he creates lightning bolts from the sky and makes them fall towards Triaxa without harming Hades. Triaxa, Aarg, roars in pain as he is dragged along the ground by the lightning bolts thrown by Zeus. Zeus, what does that mean, Hades? He said seriously while receiving help from Hades. Hades, well, let's say there are things to talk about, but for now we should concentrate on Triaxa, he said seriously. Zeus, well, at least you ended up joining us since we need more power to be able to defeat Triaxa, but don't think that by helping us you will get out of the punishment for the crimes, he said seriously. Hades, well, it doesn't matter, we have to stop Triaxa, he said seriously. With Issei. Issei, who was seeing the response that was happening in the situation, cursed himself since they did not know how to stop Triaxa, one of the most powerful beings, until Moon spoke. Moon, girl, I have an idea but I don't know if we can achieve it, she said seriously. Issei, what is it? He said in doubt. Moon, use the power of crystal and the moon to create a seal, and not only that, she will have to ask the others to also put a part of the seal to strengthen the barrier so they can no longer break it again, she said seriously. Issei, we'll try, he said seriously. Moon, but that would be riskier. If we fail, we will not be able to seal it again, he said seriously and at the same time with fear. Gasu, Don't worry, we'll do everything we can to hold them off for a few minutes, he said seriously. Vali, even if it costs us our lives, he said seriously. Gasu, okay, Juvia, explain the plan to the others, he said seriously while looking back at Juvia. Juvia, good, she said seriously while creating a magic circle in her ear to give her the plan she has. Jupiter, okay girls, let's go. There are things we must do, finish what we started, she said seriously and with a smile. The factions who had already heard the plan all decided to attack it together with Nu and Triaxa. When seeing that everyone was coming at the same time, they only limited themselves to being serious and preparing for a counterattack. Rias, she is hurt. Her face was bleeding from the blows of the explosion, and her arm was in pain from being held, and she just limited herself to watching how the battle was going, and then she changes her gaze towards Moon, seeing how she takes out her wings along with her silver crystal illuminating the place where she is. The only hope for this world is depending on the result that she gives, she said worriedly. Akeno, Rias, we must not lose confidence. I know we hurt Issei-kun, but even if the battle ends, we will find a way to ask for forgiveness, she said sadly while hugging Rias, not only her but also her entourage. With Issei, the brown-haired boy only cursed himself since the battle had lasted longer than he thought. Issei, Drake, I have to ask you a big favor, he said seriously with his eyes closed. Drake, I'm listening to you, he said seriously. Issei, I want you to take control of my energy, he said seriously. Drake, because what do you have planned, he said seriously because he didn't like what he said. Issei, I will use a technique. I would say that this attack could damage Triaxa, but in order to use it, my energy would go out of control, he said seriously. Drake, what do you mean? He said seriously. Issei, my energy is pure and that attack is evil energy. Using it would make me lose control. Don't let the darkness consume me, he said seriously. Drake, the darkness consumes you, haha, okay, but be careful, don't go overboard, he said seriously. Issei, thanks Drake, he said seriously while closing his eyes and raising his black sword. Issei, go Kuriha, he screamed as a ball of evil energy covered in air like a whirlwind comes out of the tip of the sword and throws it towards Triaxa. Everyone who was attacking Triaxa with their maximum power notices Issei's attack, causing everyone to retreat as the presence of that attack gave them a chill. Meanwhile, Triaxa prepares to stop that attack, but what she didn't know is that that attack was too powerful, causing Triaxa to fly out along with the attack to a more remote place on the battlefield. Sona, that attack is too scary, and he was even able to push Triaxa out of nowhere, she said surprised along with her friends and family. A few minutes after Sona's words, the place had a huge explosion, causing everyone to be covered by the air currents caused by the explosion. Issei, princess, it's now or never, he screams in pain while touching his forehead. Plut, Issei, you are crazy because you use that power, you don't know what your consequences would be of using that power, he said seriously. Issei, I know, but there was no other alternative, he said seriously and tired and shows a smile. Moon, please Mother of the Moon, I ask you to lend me your power along with the silver crystal, she said seriously, making her scale light up the place. I, the Princess of the Moon, in the name of justice and the power of the moon, your Triaxa who has given fear and fear to this world will be purified by the power of the moon, she said seriously. While the light is getting stronger and stronger. Venus, well, we will help him, she said seriously and stands behind Moon. Mercury, well, let's do it by the power of Mercury, she said seriously. Venus, by the power of Venus, she said seriously. Mars, by the power of Mars, she said seriously. Jupiter, by the power of Jupiter, she said seriously. Saturn, by the power of Saturn, he said seriously. Urano, by the power of Uranus, she said seriously. Neptune, by the power of Neptune, she said seriously. Plut, by the power of Plut, she said seriously. The other members, seeing that it was time, all put their part of the seal, but what they never expected was that Triaxa stood up and began to unite his energy in his palm to counterattack. Issei, damn, he said annoyed while standing hard. Arturia, she is sweating as she is doubting whether to use the true power of Excalibur or not. Curse, if I use it, Excalibur will leave me alone, she said, annoyed until she felt the pulsation of Excalibur. Do you want me to use it? Are you going to leave me for that moment? She said, surprised. Triaxa, I'm fed up with you imbeciles, annoyed scream as he attacks. Arturia, I will not allow it, while facing the attack. Issei Arthur/LaFay, no, get out of there, I scream, desperately seeing the stupid thing Arturia is going to do. Arturia raises her sword and a column of light shoots into the sky. Excalibur screams seriously as she lowers her sword, causing Trihexa's attack to be destroyed and given to Trihexa. Trihexa, how could a mere human counter my attack? He said, surprised. Arturia, do it now, princess, serious scream. Moon, by the power of the moon Ion no Suki no, eternal moon prison, she said seriously while pointing with her spear along with the silver crystal. Trihexa could not believe what was happening. He sees the place where he is being illuminated. It was a white light. Trihexa, not believing what was happening, tried to escape but could not. His legs were already being chained, a silver chain. Trihexa, damn you, you're going to try to seal me again. I'm not going to allow that, annoyed scream as he tries to break the chain. Chow chow, oh spear, show me. After doing the quantum, the spear began to start a white energy but then changes to a golden energy. That's it, I see, so you were watching from beyond, he said calmly while closing his eyes. Kemi no Kasari, divine chain, he shouted while throwing a blade of energy towards the chains that were being destroyed by Trihexa. Trihexa, damn you, how many times do you have to be getting in my way? I hate you, I'm going to kill you all, damn you Elohim. I scream with hatred and fury, causing the place to shake, and at the same time lightning strikes. Moon, I can't take it anymore, she said seriously while trying to get up because she is slowly getting tired. But there is something that no one realized, that Trihexa launched a furious attack made of lightning that fell from the sky towards Moon. Moon, demon, she said, worried when she saw the attack but saw that someone got in the way. You, she said, surprised. All princess, she screamed worriedly, seeing the next attack coming towards her, but there is something she never imagined was Rias and her entourage, who tried to protect Moon but ended up receiving damage, causing her to fall with serious injuries on the verge of death. Rias, do it, what are you waiting for? She said weakly while falling to the ground. Moon, you guys, she said, almost tired and was about to give up due to lack of strength. Issei, don't give up, princesses, he said seriously while holding his arm to keep it higher. Moon, Issei, she said tiredly. Issei, come on, princesses, he said seriously while his body shines, giving off a red armor combined with his natural power. Drake, that's it, he said, surprised. Moon/Issei, AAH, both screamed to be able to seal again. Trihexa, damn you, annoyed scream as he was sealed. Note, something like that. Everyone was surprised, but out of nowhere they shouted victory. Serena/Issei, they look at the sky and then look at each other and give it a smile.
Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.